The following is a special presentation of the World Baseball Classic.
To the morning track, gone! It's a new day on the international landscape.
Base hit into left field.
Diving catch, wow! Perfecto! It is gone! Two nights ago at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium here on the island of Taiwan, over 15,500 fans jammed this ballpark, and tonight we are anticipating even more for a matchup that means a lot to these two teams. Italy, coming off its first win in the 2023 World Baseball Classic a night ago, takes on the host team, Chinese Taipei. Here are the up-to-the-minute standings in Pool A. The Netherlands leading this group right now, 2-0. An off day today for the Kingdom squad. And right behind that club, a 1-0 start for Italy, with an impressive win last night over Cuba in extra innings. Hi, everybody. Live from Taichung's Intercontinental Baseball Stadium alongside former Major Leaguer and two-time World Baseball Classic Team Australia pitcher Ryan Rowland-Smith. My name is Tyler Mon. Ryan, 2 nights ago, Chinese Taipei did not get off to the start that they were hoping in this World Baseball Classic. A 12-5 loss to a really impressive Panama team that night. Tonight, they get a chance to get back after it in front of a packed house.
Yeah, and you mentioned the energy in this building. Panama made quick work at taking the energy out. There wasn't a whole lot of them to cheer for. They did have some action late in that game, but not the kind of start they wanted to get off to.
Chinese Taipei was nearly bounced from that game early via the early termination rule, but it was Nianting Wu who rescued them with a home run. He was terrific all night.
Yeah, we put so much emphasis, and for good reason, on Yu Chang, the big leaguer who's with the Boston Red Sox. But what about Nianting Wu? He does play in Japan, Seibu Lions, right in the middle of this lineup. He had a big night. You mentioned it too, Tyler, the fact that Panama ran away with this game, 12 runs they put up. But this guy gave this crowd something to cheer for late. He's a big weapon in the middle of that lineup. And here's the scouting report for Nianting Wu.
Not only that, but you hope if you're a Chinese Taipei supporter that engendered some momentum moving into game number 2. And with game number 2 here tonight, this team goes against an Italy squad that last night blew a 2-run lead, but rallied to save that game. It's 4 straight games in the World Baseball Classic with a blown lead. They flipped the script, didn't lose this one like they did with the first 3.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating, and this is something Cuba had. Good starting pitcher. Roland Elias was brilliant. But one thing to notice as this game was going on, a lot of hits and hitting good velocity too. Lots of mid-90s to upper 90s fastballs at the top of the lineup, and they got it done here in the 10th inning. It took them a while, but they blew this game wide open, and this kind of momentum you want to take into today.
6-3 win last night over that Cuba squad, and you look at Mike Piazza leading this team. One thing about Italy, they start strong traditionally in classics, 4-1 in opening games, but they have not had a lot of success in those second games. So avoiding a letdown is the crucial thing here tonight. We are so excited for upwards of 20,000 in this ballpark here this evening as Chinese Taipei plays host to Italy on night number 3 of the World Baseball Classics Pool A group from Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium. You hear this crowd behind us. Lineups, first pitch coming up from Taichung.
That is gone, and it's 15-3 Israel. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bases loaded, nobody out. Misses outside, and now they will score the game-winning run on a walk. High and deep and gone! And it gives Korea a 3-run lead here in the 10th.
6 years ago, an extremely undermanned Chinese Taipei team put together an extraordinarily disappointing run in its opening round in Korea's capital, Seoul. And 6 years later, a fully manned Chinese Taipei team squandered an opportunity on night number 1 of this World Baseball Classic opening round in front of home fans in a 12-5 loss to Panama. Tonight, get a chance to press the reset button after the off day yesterday, and Chinese Taipei looks for win number 1 of this 2023 Classic against Italy. Back inside Taichung's Intercontinental Baseball Stadium, everybody, alongside Ryan Rowland-Smith. My name is Tyler Munn. Ryan Mike Piazza and his team, winners last night in a thriller in extra innings, and the lineup looks largely the same tonight.
Yeah, it looks pretty much identical, and so it should be. Tons of contact, good offense, good hits up and down the lineup. You see Vinny Pescantino in the middle, Dominic Fletcher, the big hero, the brother of David Fletcher, you see up in the 2-hole as well. So this is a good dynamic lineup that can handle velocity and plus pitching. Mike Piazza's got a good crew with him.
And there you see the first-time World Baseball Classic manager Mike Piazza, resident now in the Parma area in Emilia-Romagna in Italy, and a very veteran-laden coaching staff with him. Blake Nutera, the bench coach and minor league field coordinator with the Tampa Bay Rays, and a 2-time reigning Carolina League Manager of the Year. That's his bench coach. Kristen Norfie is on that staff. A lot of guys on this staff with coaching experience. On the other side tonight, coming out of a loss on night number 1, Chinese Taipei turns to Xiaoqing Zhang, a starter with the Fubon Guardians in the CPBL and a former affiliated player in the U.S.
Yeah, he spent 8 years over in the United States playing, and now he's back on home soil. A lot of these guys, they get back and they kind of figure themselves out a little bit. They mature a little bit after having that stint in the U.S. And you can take a look at the scouting report. Fastball, slider, changeup. Gets a ton of ground balls when that two-seamer is moving. It gets under a lot of these barrels.
And we are just about ready to roll on a Friday night in front of a packed house here at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium. And the first pitch on the way from Chung is in there for a called strike 1.
You can hear this crowd. Pitch number 1, bearing in a strike. They want to cheer. They've been waiting a long time to get some success. You mentioned the last World Baseball Classic. Not a good run.
Quickly an 0-2 count on the leadoff man, the second-ranked Milwaukee Brewers prospect, and MLB Pipeline's number 30 overall, Sal Frelick.
It's an exciting prospect. He kind of went a little quietly the other night, but I've been watching tons of video on this kid. First time I got a chance to see him live was last night in an Italian uniform. It's going to be a big prospect, big part of that Brewers future.
How cool is that two-strike noise? We're going to let the crowd tell you a lot of this story tonight here in Taichung as the Festival of Baseball enters its 3rd night, and the home team takes the field for the 2nd time here in Taiwan. 1-2 down the left field line, serve to the opposite field, and on the run. Nice grab out there by Po Young Wong. 1 up, 1 down in the top of the 1st.
Wong with a nice read on that two-strike, flip to left field. Look at this, Sal Frelick just trying to serve that ball into left field. Now the big key here for Chinese Taipei, got to throw strikes. Talked about Chung and having the ability to get the ball on the ground. One thing we didn't see 2 nights ago, especially from the bullpen, they just ran into some big counts, a lot of walks, a lot of free passes against Panama. And that set the table for them to put up 12 runs.
That brings in a big league shortstop in David Fletcher. Fletcher 1 for 4, an intentional walk and a run scored last night. Scored as part of that 4-1 Italy 10th. Xiaoqing Zhang trying to get his team into the dugout and up to the plate as quickly as possible here in this 1st. 0-2 pitch. And Fletcher, a guy who does not strike out a lot, puts the bat on the ball a lot, gets into battle mode here down 0-2.
And already you see just that easy 94-95 with a ton of run on that fastball. That pitch running back out over the plate. Keys for him to get some vertical on that, to get underneath the barrel, let the defense do its thing.
0-2 coming. 1-2. This lineup top to bottom Good amount of success yesterday for Italy. They piled up 11 hits in that eventual win. One, two.
We talk about the run on the outside part of the plate. What about the run going in on the hands of David Fletcher? Another look at it. It's a 472. It just goes to show. In on the handle.
Young from the wind. His 1-2 pitch on the way.
David Fletcher, one of the hardest guys, essentially in Major League Baseball, to strike out. Makes a lot of contact, but he is so tough when he gets behind the count.
Continues to fight here. This Italian team put a lot of good at-bats together yesterday. And you can tell just from that shot we had in the dugout a second ago, they take the cue from their manager, Mike Piazza, bench coach Blake Butera, the rest of this coaching staff. I mean, that's it. Look at how unbothered that team is by this atmosphere around them. If anything, maybe even more energized.
There's a big breath, big exhale from Mike Piazza. He's feeling it a little bit.
That one off of our home plate umpire tonight, Chris Siegel, out of Major League Baseball. He's all right.
Chest protector.
Rest of this umpiring crew, Kitok Park from Korea is at third base. Shogo Asumi from Japan at second. Nick Lentz, the crew chief for Major League Baseball, is over at first. David Fletcher awaits another 2-2 pitch on the way to him. And he lifts it in the air, out to center. 2 gone. Well, so far, they've been introducing us to the outfield with flyouts to left-hand center. Po Young Wong in left. Chi-Chen Chen making the catch in center on the last one.
Yeah, we talked about David Fletcher being tough to strike out. But again, Chung, got to get the ball on the ground. That's his weapon, that big two-seamer into this infield. See Sung-Chi Chang at second base. Nin-Ting Wu having a big offensive night here on opening night. And the big leaguer over there at first base, Yu Chang.
And another big leaguer with an emphasis on big, the hulking left-handed hitting Kansas City Royals first baseman, Vinny Pasquantino, takes ball 1. Pasquantino, good numbers in that first game, and everything he got the bat to was hit extremely hard.
We talked about some of the plate discipline and walking more than he strikes out. That's a trend he's had up through the minor league system, and then to do that in the big leagues is impressive. But you mentioned the exit velo. Man, everything was stung, and you get a chance to watch him take batting practice. It's impressive.
1-1 there for a called strike. Zhao Qingzhong aiming to retire this Italy side, 3 up, 3 down. Look at that list. Look at the names there that Vinny Pasquantino finds himself in company with.
Yeah, look at that. Juan Soto up the top. By the way, this is minimum 250 at-bats. So it's not like this guy came up for a month and literally said, you know what, all right, I'm going to tear it up, and then the league starts to figure him out. No, it's a sustained ability to walk more than he strikes out.
Done that throughout the entirety of his pro ball career as he takes this pitch up high and he works his way to a full count at 3-2. Vinny Pasquantino, a draft selection out of Old Dominion University, and a guy who has just steadily climbed through the Kansas City Royals organization, made his way to the major leagues last year. 3-2 pitch on the way to him. And he crushes it out to left center field, and that's going to get down for extra bases. Perhaps it's cut off brilliantly out there by Wong, and the throw in is in time to get Pasquantino at second. Italy gone in order. Chinese Taipei coming up. We told you anything Vinny Pasquantino hits, he hits very hard. He crushed this one out to left center field. What a great job by Po Young Wong to get to it. You see Pasquantino's hustle, just not enough on a perfect throw from left.
Yeah, I think with this, you see Wong moving to his left, able to cut that ball down. That was the key. I think Vinny Pasquantino initially thought that ball may have gotten past him, and then just not respecting that arm out there in left field.
There's a reason Po Young Wong has been nicknamed the Great King here in Taiwan. And as we head to the bottom of the first inning, we get a look at the right-handed starting pitcher for Italy and Mike Piazza tonight. It's a former second-round draft pick, Ryan Castellani.
Yeah, and this is the guy who has gotten to the major leagues, was a big prospect on a lot of different lists, but just unable to execute, get it done once he's gotten up there and stay at the major league level.
First pitch is shot out to shortstop. First pitch swinging goes Chung Che-chung, and he is retired for out number one in the bottom of the first inning. Here is the starting lineup as announced by Yue Ping Lin, the manager for Chinese Taipei. Chung already retired. Li Lin steps into the batter's box to DH.
Yeah, Li Lin, a big name here, big fan favorite. Yu Chang, obviously the major leaguer. He just signed with the Boston Red Sox back in February. And the guy who had the biggest night, hoping to carry that momentum over, hitting fifth, Ning-Ting Wu.
Castellani, one pitch, one out. As the music starts from the horn section out on the concourse behind the Chinese Taipei dugout on the first side. We'll let you listen in to this atmosphere here in Taichung. Drive to left. South Grilick is there, 2 away on 3 pitches.
For Ryan Castellani, we've already seen a couple sliders from him. It's going to be 85 to 87. He's 6'4", but he has that low 3/4 arm slot. One thing he's been working on this winter up a drive line in Seattle is pitching up in the strike zone. This has been a big key for him. One thing that's a big prevalence now in the States with scouting is that vertical approach angle. And not to geek out too much, Tyler, but basically the way the ball, when the ball crosses home plate. So having that big 6'4" frame, but you see there, he's got that low arm slot. He's trying to generate more swings and misses. So when he pitches up in the strike zone, it's flatter, and he gets above the barrel.
Ryan Castellani, as you noted, went to driveline baseball in the Seattle area to work on some things. And that release point, I talked with Toby Nagel, who worked with Ryan Castellani. For a guy who is listed at 6'4", the release point is around 5'8" or 5'9". It's very low for that big frame.
Right, and the old school way of thinking about that is to try and create tilt, but no pitcher is ever built the same. And so when you look at that, and you know, they obviously identify some of these characteristics, the way the ball comes out, obviously the release height, the release side, that's a big factor, the extension you get. And so one thing with him, he's going to be 50-50, fastball slider, he's got a ton of movement, but the pitch metrics, the way the ball behaves out of that release point, it's a weapon for him to pitch up in the strike zone a little bit more. Plus, giving him a chance to kind of just let it eat, get that velocity up to 95, 96 again, like when he was a prospect.
I actually have the numbers wrong. Major league average is about 5'8" to 5'9". Ryan Castellani at 6'4", his release point is about 5'2". So even more pronounced. It comes in tight on Yue Lin. Balls and 2 strikes now. This atmosphere is just indescribable. This is one of those things you get to witness and you think, a moment you'll probably never forget as Lin fouls that pitch away.
And this is a baseball destination too, make no mistake about it. This is group of fans that they follow Major League Baseball heavily. They follow obviously the CPBL. They follow their favorite players in Japan.
Lin, big drive, deep to right, gone!
Like this, they have been waiting 10 years to witness for the baseball to come back, the World Baseball Classic to return to Taiwan. Hanging slider, and Li Lin absolutely crushed it.
If you don't have goosebumps watching that moment, I am not sure that you are capable of feeling human emotion, as Li Lin with a titanic solo shot to give his team the 1-0 lead.
We talked about how the ball travels here to right field. Absolute no doubt. It doesn't wind, assisted, affected, doesn't matter. That ball was crushed.
The liner to center field will get past Ben DeLuzio, and here goes Yu Chang, who can run for a while, and he's got a double. That thing just took off on Ben DeLuzio on an angle probably difficult to read with how hard it was hit especially, and Chang into second.
Not to mention too, your heart rate's up a little bit, you got the noise you're dealing with, you got the energy, just a misread. And also, Yu Chang, the major league player, he stings the ball. It's kind of a situation where that ball kind of got on you a little quicker than what you expected.
That is the second straight night with a misplay out in center for Ben DeLuzio. That one will go as an error. I initially said a hit for Yu Chang, but that does go as an error. And, you know, to be fair to Ben DeLuzio, he's been trying to field some absolute rockets out his direction that can be really difficult to read, especially with all the motion and everything behind the plate. As that ball came off the bat, nearly 106 miles an hour off the bat for Yu Chang.
Chinese Taipei, you have to use this momentum early. We talked about him getting down against Panama that first night. Just keep the line moving.
Ryan, this has been largely one of the big problems for Ryan Castellani over the course of his career. He has just been extremely hittable, and has gotten more and more hittable as his career has gotten longer. And some of that, I think, is due to development. Colorado Rockies have struggled generally to develop pitchers. His numbers as he got to the major leagues, really rough. And then last year, in a new organization with the Oakland Athletics, the bottom fell out. An ERA last year of nearly 12 in 26 games in AAA. Opponents hit 320 against him, and it's not just, oh, lefties crushed him or righties crushed him. Lefties hit 321, righties hit 319.
Yeah, I mean, you look on paper, 6'4" frame, mid-90s fastball. He has that prospect status, tons of movement on the ball as well. In this winter, he goes and tries to identify what it is, how to pitch, what quadrants of the strike zone to be in. It's one thing to do that, and that's all good on paper, obviously. But in moments like this, you have to execute.
And now he hits a man. The scary thing here for Italy is that the longer this inning goes, the more this Chinese Taipei team smells blood in the water. And if you can jump on Ryan Castellani and add 1 or 2 or 3 more in this inning, the floodgates start to open for a really talented lineup that was held in check by Panama 2 nights ago.
Yeah, and for Team Italy as well, you have to start digging into that bullpen. We know they don't have any days in between here.
to calm Brian Castellani down just a little bit. If you're trying to stall this crowd out, good luck. Man, not going to stop.
This is a mound visit. Listen to this noise during a mound visit. Brings in Gungwan Gilligala. And he ambushes the first pitch and lifts it to left. Frelick is there, inning over. A big time out for Italy's starter Castellani, who limits the damage to just one. But a big one it was, as Sidway Lin crushes a two-out solo homer to right to get the home team in the lead in the first. Top of the second inning back at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium alongside former Major Leaguer and Team Australia pitcher Ryan Roland Smith. My name is Tyler Maughan. Ryan, a 1-0 lead for Chinese Taipei after one. And for Italy right now, you feel okay. I think that you limited damage. Now you got to try to settle in, put an inning together. Only sent the minimum to the plate last inning, and Dominic Fletcher, who had a terrific game last night, he'll lead things off.
Yeah, so that base running mistake from big Vinny Pascantino. You look at it in the first inning, you're like, no sweat, we're good. But when they start to mount up, we saw that from Team Cuba, that could have cost them big in that first game today. It's one of those things you just have to settle in, continue to make hard contact.
Pulling the string, Xiaoqing Zhang gets ahead 0-2. Dominic Fletcher, the Arizona Diamondbacks prospect. Batting 2 spots behind his brother, David, today. He takes ball 1 there. Last night he was 2 spots ahead of his brother in the lineup.
One thing to keep an eye on as well, Chung, if Chinese Taipei decide to try and keep him under the 50-pitch threshold. Yes, he's starting this game, but he is, first of all, he looks good, and he's one of their best pitchers. Maybe it's a situation, but they want to keep him intact for later on.
And a single crack to right as Dominic Fletcher continues his stellar start to the 2023 Classic, and he's aboard with a leadoff single in the second. D-backs prospect. You know, you see the snide comments on social media about, oh, his last name's Fletcher, how can he be Italian? Well, his mom, Fernanda, she grew up in Florence. Dominic and David got to go to Florence this year as part of the Italian Baseball Federation's Mission Classic trip, in which over half of this roster traveled to Italy to meet with Mike Piazza and some members of the FIBS staff, the Italian Baseball Softball Federation. They went to Florence and met some family. They still speak Italian, these two brothers. Their mom taught them Italian as kids. Brett Sullivan, fantastic season last year at AAA El Paso in the San Diego Padres organization. Drove in a run last night in that 6-3 extra innings win. Italy over Cuba.
Yeah, one thing that impressed me about Team Italy was the ability to make contact on plus velocity up in the strike zone. It's tough to do. That man right there, Dominic Fletcher, had some good hard contact last time out against Elias, Moinello, some of these pitchers from Cuba, 95s, 96s.
These two guys have seen each other in pro ball. Xiaoqing Zhang, former 8-year minor leaguer, 9-year affiliated signee, originally inking a deal with Cleveland back in 2011. Returned to the CPBL, pitching most recently for the Fubon Guardians. 2022 season, 22 starts for Zhang. 5-12 record, 4.70 ERA. There you see the numbers in the minors. He reached AAA, never made the big leagues. That's
that split, 2 strikes. especially against lefties. That's the pitch he'll go with. Get another look at it. Just falling off the table. Tell you what, Brett Sullivan, good job. At least make contact, fight that pitch off.
Dominic Fletcher aboard on the leadoff single. Sullivan on 1-2. Got all of that, but hit it too early.
And watching these swings, you talk about momentum, right? You talk about obviously the energy in this building, but we've already seen some hard contact. We talk about Chung and some of the success he's had at the World Baseball Classic 2017. He's got good stuff, obviously mid-90s fastball with movement. But this Italian team continue to make good contact deep in counts.
Some really good at bats so far for this Italy team. I mean, Chung already approaching 30 pitches.
That's the other factor too. Talked about trying to keep him sub 50 potentially, so they can bring him back. Maybe get that bullpen cranking early. Just having a tough time putting hitters away.
Here comes the 2-2. 3-2 now. The on-deck circle, the designated hitter, Vito Frischia.
Pick over to first base.
Nostradamus.
Yeah, you see the bullpen getting ready, and that's just to my point, maybe trying to keep him alive and good so he can pitch another game. If he can get deep enough. Bullpen already going. Double barrel here in the second.
And the big league are one of those two as they pop up left side with the runner moving. This is a long run for everybody, and that's a fair ball. And that is great base running by Dominic Fletcher, who went about 3/4 of the way to second base, knowing that that ball may fall in fair territory, and it turns into a loop single for Brett Sullivan, first and second to start the second.
Yeah, not the best contact, but let's not forget he's got 2 strikes, fouled off a lot of pitches. Pitch count's already at 30. And we know about the bullpen from Chinese Taipei. We saw it that first night, struggling to throw strikes. Charlie, you talked about the base running. This plays such a factor. We talk about the miscues. Look at this, just sticks around. Easily getting to second base.
I think a lot of base runners probably panic in that spot. You're off with the pitch, then you look up the balls in the air. A lot of guys will immediately just put on the brakes and start back. That's a good job by Dominic Fletcher. Getting into scoring position at second base. Vito Frischia now stepping in. A 40th round draft pick out of Hofstra back in 2019. That was the last year the 40th round even existed. And he hoops one down the right field line. That's going to slice foul.
Still none out.
Vito is not a first-time player with this Italy team. He was on the roster for the 2021 European Championships, and that was Mike Piazza's first tour as manager with this squad. Non-roster invitee to Philadelphia Phillies spring training this year. You saw his numbers a moment ago at AA Reading and AAA Lehigh Valley last year. Big frame for that 6'3", 225 catcher slash first baseman slash outfielder. He's in the lineup as the DH tonight as Antoine Gilligan was out for a word with his starter Chung.
I got to say, coming into this inning too with Chung, I think he's just struggling to get into any kind of rhythm. And it's costing him too. A lot of pitches in these at-bats. Trying on the same page. His catcher, Gilly Galau.
We're definitely going to have to get the story behind the pepper flare on the left spike of Vito Frischia.
I was making a very important point. I didn't want to break away to the chili, but I was very tempted. We're going to get the backstory for sure.
Not to mention, those are some sweet
Jordan
1 inspired spikes. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Chung has gotten 2 strikes, a ton. The challenge for him is putting these hitters away.
35th pitch of the night upcoming from Xiaoqing Zhang. 2-2. Crushed to center. Back goes Chen. Warning track. Reaching out, he hauls it in. More good base running from Dominic Fletcher, who tagged and advanced. And Frischia gave it a ride, but he's out number 1.
This is a great route to this ball. You cannot, you see him going up, drop, step and pass over his right shoulder, having to spin around 360 and stay with that ball. You cannot break stride. The minute you go in that direction towards the ball, you got the warning track to the wall to deal with. You cannot break stride, otherwise that ball is bouncing around in center field and a run scores. Great job.
So runners at the corners and 1 gone now for Nicky Lopez, the Kansas City Royals infielder. Third base today for Nicky Lopez out of the 7th spot in the order, just like it was last night when Lopez went 2 for 5. He had a run-scoring single in the 10th. Drove in a pair. That was really the hit that felt like it broke the game open.
Yeah.
Turned it from a 4-2 game into a 6-2 game. Cuba got 1 back in the bottom of the 10th, but Italy knocking out Cuba for the 3rd time in the last 4 meetings at the senior level for those 2 national programs. And a bunt down, trying to squeeze home a run, and this game is tied. Gutsy way to get run number 1 across, and it works for Italy. It's 1-1 in the 2nd.
Good job. Tie this game up. Nicky Lopez, a guy who does struggle with runners in scoring position in 2022, only hit 162. Good job down the bottom part of that lineup. Getting it done. Good bunt. This is kind of that in between, that call it a safety squeeze, and you are trying to bunt for a base hit essentially, but just make sure you make contact and get that ball down.
2 outs. Potential go-ahead run in scoring position. And the center fielder, Ben DeLuzio, at the plate. And DeLuzio rips one to left center field. That's a base hit, and that'll give Italy the lead. DeLuzio around first, digging for second. Now around second, headed for third. And he's in there with an RBI triple.
A pin drop in this building. Italy carrying some of that momentum we saw from last night's game from Cuba, winning in the 10th. This crowd, Todd, just doesn't know what to think. We talked about the layoff, waiting for baseball to get back. But you know, we saw this 2 nights ago. It's going to take a lot to stop the cheering from happening.
So 2 outs. DeLuzio now 90 feet away. The first pitch there for a strike to the 9-hole hitter, Miles Mastrobuoni.
And you can talk about the base runners scoring on this play, but what about the hustler straight out of the box? And then right around here, you start to smell, you know what? I can get that third base.
Italy, since the start of that 10th inning last night, 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Miles Mastrobuoni trying to add to that total. Really good game yesterday for him out of the 9th spot. Those doubles came in the 3rd and the 7th. The latter plating a run. Gave Italy a 2-0 lead, which it squandered. It ended up a 2-2 game to go to extras, but Italy scoring 4 times in the 10th on the way to the win. Mastroboni, like DeLuzio over at 3rd, Chicago Cubs minor leaguer. Fouls that pitch into plate, 2-2. Miles, a 2016 14th round pick out of the University of Nevada by the Tampa Bay Rays. And look at those numbers last year with AAA Durham in the International League.
That's getting it done. That's well-rounded too. Look at the average, obviously top 5. And you got the combination with that on base percentage.
152 hits last year. And he's gone for out number 3. So Chong comes back to get the out, but the safety squeeze and the RBI triple by Ben DeLuzio give Italy its first lead of the night through 1.5. Going to the bottom of the 2nd inning in Taichung. Ripping Lin, the manager of this Chinese Taipei team. Some curious bullpen management on night number 1 for his guys on the way to that 12-5 loss. And Chinese Taipei trailing now 2-1 through 1.5. That's certainly a storyline that we're keeping an eye on.
Yeah, we already spotted that bullpen getting loose early in this game. And you mentioned the 4th inning on that opening night here for Chinese Taipei. You know, situation where Chi-Wei, who was pitching, he looked good, but he started to struggle. You could tell he was out of gas, and he stuck with him. And sometimes when there is a lot of pressure, you're back on home soil, you're going to make a big impression, and you overthink it. I think if you use your gut reaction a little bit more, you look at Chi-Wei, who 63 pitches, he got around that 45 pitch mark, Tyler, and we're both talking about it. He looked gas, and he stuck with him. Panama made you pay.
A lot of guys on that list. Everybody, in fact, except for who, available today, thanks to that off day yesterday, and to the fact that they did not exceed the pitch threshold that would necessitate any longer rest. A crowd shot a moment ago. There was a gentleman in a Brisbane Bandits jersey. I wonder if that was a Ryan Roland Smith. Look, and that hit. The 7-0 hitter, Chen Chen, the 2nd hit batsman of the last 3, as Ryan Castellani keeps coming in tight. And Chinese Taipei's got a leadoff base run.
Now, Ryan Castellani is a little shaky that 1st inning. That's where you walk down the tunnel a little bit. You regroup, press the reset button, and call this your 1st inning. But then you have to get quick outs after your team comes back the way they had in that 2nd inning.
Fan favorite Po Young Wong. Here's another look at the hit by pitch.
Yeah, for Castellani, we talked about that low 3/4 arm slide. He is missing left and right, especially on that slider as well.
DeLuzio tracking this one, has it in front of the track, and 1 out in the 2nd. It is tough, man. Anything hard hit off the bat, the way this crowd erupts, you think, oh, that's going to be gone by 48 feet.
I'm with you. I was watching that ball from this angle. I'm like, hold on a second, that's not hit that well, but the crowd thinks otherwise. This is just another hanging slider from Ryan Castellani. This is a pitch he's got to get on top of. A little bit more depth. Staying a little too horizontal right now. Got to the warning track.
brings up the 9-hole hitter, Venue John. Missed it by that much. One ball and no strikes on Venue John. Chung out of the 9 spot in the order. And a guy who, as you see, put up a couple of hits in game 1. In his home ballpark, by the way, his CTBC brothers stand out. 109 games in 2022. 318 average. Just 22 years old. He's already played 4 seasons in the CBBL. Runner off on the pitch. He will stay out of the double play as out number 2 comes at first base. Chen will take second.
They'll do plenty of that too. Here in Taipei, they will bunt, they'll hit and run, they'll try and swipe bags. The running game is alive and well in Taiwan.
So we'll go back to the top of the order. Sung Chit Chung will take his second at bat of the night. Pitch number 30 from Ryan Castellani on the way. Ball 1. Another thing that Ryan Castellani worked on a lot this offseason in driveline baseball in the Seattle area back in the U.S. is pitch design and usage, especially as it relates to his approach against left-handed hitters. Ryan Castellani is very sinker heavy and tried to develop something that would be sort of a bridge pitch between the sinker and his sweeper because the sinker was so hittable to left-handed hitters. Wonder at this stage how much this crowd does start to have an effect. It's like you go out with those blinders on and then gradually they break that down, right, and get into your skull a little bit.
Well, this is a guy, we talked about this with Matt Harvey last night. This, again, is a big platform for him. He did sign to an indie ball team, but he does have big league stuff, that big league frame and prospectability, but this crowd, this is game 1. You can see the rhythm too. Every time you see guys step off, they get a little fidgety. They're trying to settle in. You just simply don't have time to do that in this ball play.
2-0. 3-0.
You see Mike Piazza say, hey, be smart. In other words, look, this is the next Hall of Fame catcher. Knowing that you have that open base with 2 out. Don't serve up anything middle of the plate. Pitch.
Moved in there on 3-0.
You know, Tyler, the other thing too to consider as well, in the US, you're not used to pitching with music or sounds behind you when it comes to, you know, any kind of, anything like this, put it that way.
Right side, not past the dive, past Quintino and on into right. Rounding third base is Chen, and this game is tied up.
Piazza said, listen, be smart before that at bat. And that's exactly what he meant. Don't give up anything, middle of the plate. And then his reaction looked after his pitcher. He pointed his head and he said, be smart. He said, it's okay. He's just trying to calm him down like he was back catching in a Mets uniform right now. Trying to calm Ryan Castellani down, let him relax, make a pitch.
And the guy who steps into the box now is the reigning CPBL most valuable player, Lee Lin.
And look, listen, I want to express this as well. It's not like you're trying to hang a slider in that situation. You have to understand which pitches are going to get outs, and that slider just simply hasn't been working for him all game.
2 balls and no strikes. Castellani definitely looks rattled right now. And how could you not be when that tidal wave of noise crashes over you? 2-0 pitch. Lee Lin at the plate. Lee Lin, the reigning CPBL MVP. He's got a nickname that I'm going to preface is quite aggressive. But his nickname in the CPBL is the Nuclear Warhead. And that's just how these fans see his energy, see what he brings to the plate, see how dynamic he is as a player. Hitters count at 2-1. Last year, Triple Crown winner. The only other Taiwanese Triple Crown winner in CPBL history is on this roster as well. That's Po Young Long, the left fielder, batting out of the 8th spot. 3-time Taiwan Series champion. Goes after the 2-1 and spoils it into the screen, 2-2.
Still no one getting ready in that Italian bullpen. It's all you.
Castellani trying to keep this thing tied up. 2-2 pitch, runner off, and a fly ball down the right field line that will go foul and will get out of play.
I'm kind of surprised right here. No one in the bullpen. Still, an Italian bullpen getting loose. It's on him. It's time for him to make some pitches.
Castellani deals, runner off again, and another foul ball. Lee Lin doing a great job battling here.
At bats get long when you cannot land that best secondary pitch, and that being his slider. You just cannot get on top of that pitch. These at bats, they get long, you get frustrated. That's where you start to give in. That's when the damage happens.
2-1 on the ground, and it eats up Pasquantino. First to third goes Chung, and it is runners at the corners with 2 outs. Vinny Pasquantino normally so sure-handed at first base, and that thing I think just stayed down when he was anticipating a bigger hop. And Lin is on with his first hit.
Ryan Castellani is battling right now. A lot of ground balls, but just too much plate. Talked about that slider just not being a weapon. You mentioned Vinny Pasquantino kind of reacted, like you said, Ty. Looked like he was waiting for a bigger hop. It's good at passing a little quicker than what he's expecting.
Big opportunity for the guy who belted the home run in the first, and Siwei Lin fouls it off.
That runner at first taken off. With that good jump, 2 out, 3-2 count.
Oh, 1 on Lin. These are the moments that for the last 6 years people have missed in the absence of the World Baseball Classic. And in 2023, they are back. 1-1 there for a strike.
strike. That is ruled an error on Vinny Pasquantino. Ball in the air, left field, Sal Frelick there to put it away. Chinese Taipei able to draw even again. And this game, 2-2 as we go to the third in Taichung. Left-handed former major leaguer Wei Chung Wong will take over on the pitcher's mound for Chinese Taipei as we go to the top of the third inning. 2 runs on 4 hits for Italy through 2 frames, 2 runs on 2 hits for Chinese Taipei.
Man, you mentioned the time in the big leagues. Not a whole lot of success, 47 games over 3 seasons, 6.5 ERA. You see the numbers him locally. He's a 2-pitch guy, occasional changeup, fastball, slider. He needs to have that command on point to have success.
First pitch is certainly not that, and it's ball 1 to the leadoff man in this order, Sal Frelick out of the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Number 30 prospect in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline's prospect rankings for this 2023 season. 2nd ranked prospect in the Brewers organization. Only Jackson Chourio ranks higher. A phenom young prospect in that system. 1-1 on the second. Chen Chung.
You see that fastball. Time in the big leagues was 88, 91, 92s. But he's lost some velo over time. It's at 85s, 87s.
So with 1 gone, it brings up David Fletcher. You know, Ryan, Wei Chung Wong is a really good example of just what baseball means in this country. Wei Chung Wong, a guy who you think of as, oh, he's a major leaguer, didn't have a ton of success. 2 years ago when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers, and then later in his career with the Oakland Athletics and Pittsburgh Pirates, a friend of mine, a Taiwanese baseball journalist, paid by a news outlet here to follow him around the entire season. And in the big leagues, you look at somebody like that as he strikes out a hitter who is very difficult to strike out.
Yeah, you mentioned real quick just on David Fletcher how tough he is to strike out, get the 2 strikes quickly, and then put him away with a changeup this time. This is a pitch he's throwing more and more as that velo is diminished. He's a fastball slider guy, and then all of a sudden he's developed a changeup at that 3rd pitch.
It's just so fascinating to me that you see someone and you think, oh, he's a serviceable major league arm, but in his home country, he can be the focus of that much attention of, oh, this is our guy. He's in the major leagues. We got to follow everything he does, every start, every outing, every relief appearance. And he's facing a real tough hitter in Vinny Pasquantino with 2 outs and the bases empty, which is how you would like to face Vinny Pasquantino, and he's ahead of him at 0-2. Pasquantino, a single to left in the 1st inning. He was thrown out trying to stretch that to a double. That ended the 1st. Wong kicks and deals the 0-2, and a bouncing ball out to second. 1-2-3, inning over. We are locked in a good one in Taichung, going to the bottom of the 3rd. Leadoff man for Chinese Taipei in the bottom of the 3rd inning is Yu Cheng, a guy who's become a very familiar name to Major League Baseball fans across the country. Originally signed by Cleveland back in 2013. 2-time minor league all-star, a 2018 Arizona Fall League selection, and a guy who was a top 10 organizational prospect just a couple of years ago, and now currently in the Boston Red Sox organization. And Cheng will be the first man in to face big league free agent Joe Biagini.
Yeah, you see the athleticism from Yu Chang. Makes hard contact, can run. He's facing fellow big leaguer in Joe Biagini, the new pitcher. This is 2022 in Triple-A. Last time he was in the major leagues, only 6 seasons was 2021. But these are the numbers: 346, 30 games, only 5 starts. The big thing with Joe Biagini, came up to be a starter, but then transitioned to that bullpen. Trying to get back to that level.
And the first pitch is hammered in the air to left center field, and that will be extra bases for Yu Chang right out of the gate here in the third. Leadoff double. And wasted no time and just ambushed that.
Yeah, we talked about Ryan Castellani just feeling the nerves, just not getting settled in, being affected by the crowd, just not being able to land that slider. So you think Mike Piazza goes with Joe Biagini, someone who's pitched at this on this stage before, facing Yu Chang. Welcome. One pitch, double.
Ryan, you kind of wonder right now, Ryan Castellani's final line, not exactly glowing, but he did a great job of limiting damage. 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, no strikeouts. But you go to the bullpen pretty quick, and it's almost like keeping hitters off balance by giving them different looks with a new pitcher every time through the lineup. You're almost, in effect, trying to counterbalance this crowd by going to the freshest guys you can right now. Castellani looked a little rattled toward the end of the 2nd inning. Now you go to Biagini, you see how he handles it, see how long you can go with him.
Yeah, you just can't script how it's going to work out, and you try your best too. You come into this game, you know you got Ryan Castellani. Best case scenario gives you 3 or 4 potential innings, and then you can start mixing and matching. But then, as you know, Tyler, we've seen this. You've got 4 games.
Through the shift on the right side, of base hit. Here comes Chang around third. He'll be held there, but Yen-Ting Wu's scorching hot start to the Classic continues. He's got his 4th hit in just over a game, and it's 1st and 3rd to start things in the 3rd.
And they're wasting no time with Joe Biagini jumping all over him. Getting that fastball middle of the plate. Crushing, here we go. This is a chance just to slow him down. Give him a breather. Comes at you quick. But Tyler, we were talking about right before this hit. It's a situation where you have to start getting creative with how you manage that bullpen. We know about the pitch limitations. You got to figure out who can handle some of these situations, especially first time with new teammates and everything that goes with it. Directing traffic. Yeah, he's got first base to take 2nd.
Italy's pitching coach, Michael Borzello, the one out there for the visit. Longtime Major League coach, 25 years on Major League staffs.
Now you talk about different looks. Joe Biagini's right over the top. He's got that big frame. He's 6'4", 32 years old. He's a sinker slider guy. Someone who was trying to make his mark as a high velocity and then lost a little bit. Relies heavily on that sinker and slider. There's that slider right there.
Looks as though they've gone back and amended that Lee Lin rope pass, mini pass from Tino to a hit. Which means that the top 5 hitters in this Chinese Taipei lineup now all have at least 1 hit. They initially showed 2 Italy errors, now 1 and 5 Chinese Taipei knocks. Gilligalau with the fly out to left field that ended the 1st inning. Big opportunity for him here. 0-1 in the air, shallow center, medium depth center. DeLuzio camps out behind it, and everybody will hold.
That's a big out. Just to try and settle in. More than anything, obviously, when you get the first out of the inning, just to be able to take a breath and say, okay, I'll get that first one. Let's keep going. Let's land that slider. Let's get that good command on that fastball.
So one gone. And here is Jishin Chen. Chen, the leadoff hit by pitch in the second inning. He scored the game-tying run on the RBI single by Sung Che Chen. 3 batters later. This is one fan dance I think I could do.
Oh, you can nail this for sure.
There's a lot of them I'm like, no chance, but I think I can handle this one. Squares to show bunt and maybe looking to return the favor of that safety squeeze that plated Italy's second run of the game, first run of the game. This is the cardio for these fans. Innings 1 through 9.
Especially for those mascots there as well. Wearing those suits. It's warm here.
It is really warm tonight. We had a first pitch temperature just over 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Warm day, temperatures in the low 80s. 1-0 to left, down, Chinese Taipei, back out in front.
It's a completely different team than what we saw in that first night. They're taking every little bit of energy from this crowd. Bringing into hits, turns into runs. It's just a pitch up in the strike zone. Slaps that ball into left field. Chinese Taipei take the lead.
First and second now, and the first pitch is down to Po Young Wong. Look at this emotion from these guys. I mean, this, like you said, this just feels completely different. The confidence from this team right now is through the roof.
I was thinking about this too. That man right there, Yu Chang. Yeah, when you grow up in this environment, obviously you're used to this and you watch your favorite players. Then you go to the United States, you don't have that same, you don't have your chance, you don't have all this energy while you're hitting. Obviously you have the Major League crowd.
Back up the middle, that's a base hit. Po Young Wong, the great king, drives in. Another one, and Chinese Taipei adds to the lead, now 4-2.
Over in that first base dugout. This Italy pitching just has no answers.
And that is going to be the end of the night for Joe Biagini. Already 2 home for Chinese Taipei in the third. Pitching change to come. And a 2-run lead for the home team. 4-2 our score. Italy going to the bullpen again in the third. We're in the bottom of the third inning and already 7 hits for Chinese Taipei. 4 runs on the board, runners at first and second, and this was just a moment ago. Po Young Wong coming through.
And the hits keep coming. Getting a lot of pitches to hit. Team Italy just having no answers. We talked about it from last night till tonight. The crowd's into it. But now all of a sudden, this Chinese Taipei is living off of that energy. He's rapping a little bit too.
That's why last night's win was so massive for this Italy team, because you get that win, you know that you're drawing a tough assignment tonight. You feel a little bit better at 1-0 coming in. If you drop a game against the home team, Italy will turn right now to Stephen Woods Jr. out of the bullpen. First pitch swinging rounder to third, and that's under Nicky Lopez. Rounding third, digging for the plate is Chun. He scores! Aggressive base running gets the job done. It's a 5-2 lead in the third.
Talk about the pitchers being rattled, the defense being rattled as well. Pressing, feeling that energy. That man too, Mike Piazza, talked about the win last night. Not the same crowd playing against Cuba.
Out of the 9 spot and a popped up bunt. Lopez there to make the play.
I'll be honest with you, pitching in the big leagues, you get to 2 strikes and the whole crowd stands up. Your home crowd to try and get that strikeout. I'm not gonna lie, there'll be times where I'd step off because I just want the crowd to be quiet. I've pitched in environments like this where you just nothing you do is gonna quiet this crowd.
You said one of your early international baseball memories, you're pitching in Tokyo and had that same feeling of like, can't they just be quiet?
Just for a split second, let me try this pitch.
It does go as an error charge to Nicky Lopez on the ball off the bat of Gunyu Chang, and now Lee Lin, who had the error on Vinny Pasquantino, changed to a hit. He's at the plate for his 3rd at bat already. Chinese Taipei, a couple of nights ago, scored 5 runs on 13 hits in 9 innings against Panama. We are in the bottom of the 3rd, 5 runs on 7 hits already for the home team.
Travis letting it eat on top of that dugout.
Yeah, how's Travis still standing after that? All of the blood would be gone from my head after attempting that. 2-1. That shot to right it down. Another base hit. Long around third. No cutoff in the throw. On target from Dominic Fletcher for the final out of the inning. What a throw from right. And the D-backs prospect is able to shut down the inning by getting the out at the plate. But not before Chinese Taipei adds 3. And headed into the 4th. The home team's got a 5-2 lead. We're through 3 innings at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium, and I am exhausted. Top of the 4th, it's a 5-2 lead for Chinese Taipei. These fans have been electric since the jump tonight, and they cheered on a 3-run, 5-hit bottom of the 3rd to put their team back out in front, and Dominic Fletcher will lead things off out of the cleanup spot. Same thing he did in the 2nd inning when he kicked off a 2-run frame for Italy, and as baseball so often has a way of doing, Fletcher the one to end the inning with a great spectacular defensive play, and then he leads off the next half inning at the dish. 2-0 is there for a strike zone from the former big leaguer Wei Chung Wong.
I didn't take a breath, Tyler. I'm cooked.
You've been drinking lattes with a lot of shots of espresso, and I feel like none of them provide the same jolt as this crowd. As we take a look at the Pool A standings up to the minute, Italy right now, one of the 2 unbeatens after that win last night, but think of all the different permutations based on how this game goes. If Chinese Taipei wins, we have 4 one-win teams through 3 days in this World Baseball Classic Pool A. The Netherlands sitting pretty, just watching everybody else beat up on each other. Henson Mullins' team is feeling all right about that. If Italy wins,
all of a sudden you've got two 2-win teams and everybody else is in a battle. Chinese Taipei would remain winless at 0-2, and Fletcher takes the walk to get things started here in the fourth. That's what's so awesome about this format, man. And I know for some people it's, the World Baseball Classic, it's one-game matchups. That's not really baseball. We play 162 games in the regular season. We play multiple game series in the postseason, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a different event, and it's great that way. And when you only get a chance to play 4 games, all of the scenarios are crazy and so much fun. And that's what we're looking at now tonight, pending the winner of this one. And we are a long way from over here in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. And look, we talked about Pool A being the most evenly balanced, and is it ever? I mean, we talked about Cuba getting down 0-2, thinking to yourself, well, are they done? Are they going to have to try and avoid having that relegation if they fall at the bottom of this pool? But everyone below the Netherlands beating up on each other.
Brett Sullivan cracks one to center field and dunks that in for a single, and it's back-to-back base hits. Back-to-back base runners, I should say, to get things going for Italy in the top of the fourth.
There's nothing better, too. You get down a couple runs, you get back in that dugout, especially if you're being a genie and you feel like you let your guys down in that inning. And then your offense quickly, runners at first and second, none out.
Brett Sullivan's got to be feeling good. He was 0 for 4 with a sacrifice fly last night, but 2 for his first 2 tonight. And the tying run now coming to the plate. And the person, Vito Frisia. Getting a look into that first base dugout. Some movement defensively for Chinese Taipei. Positioning out of that dugout. And those Franklin batting gloves with the World Baseball Classic logo on him. Vito Frisia, the Phillies prospect. Fans thought they had a high strike number 1, and instead it's 1-0. 1-0 pitch down. Vito Frisia was one of the members of this Italy team that took part in the Mission Classic trip in November, in which over half this squad traveled to Italy, got to take a tour around the country with their manager Mike Piazza. Got to go to Mike Piazza's house in Emilia Romagna, just outside of Parma. Up high, 3 balls and no strikes. Good eye here from Vito Frisia.
All of a sudden, Wei Chung-won coming out for his second inning. He looked good against that man right there, Vinny Pasquantino on the left-hand side of your screen with a big strikeout. You can see Gilligolo, the catcher, coming out just to give him a breather, going down 3-0.
A list of those Italy roster members that attended that Mission Classic trip back in November. The Fletcher brothers, we told you about David and Dominic getting to go to their mom's hometown of Florence. Vinny Pasquantino took a little extra side trip afterwards to visit London. Mitchell Stumpo closed out the win last night for Italy. Brett Sullivan, the man who reached a moment ago on the single. Pretty incredible opportunity for those guys. I've also noticed over the first couple of nights of this World Baseball Classic, Vinny Pasquantino seems to find himself around Mike Piazza a lot.
Yeah.
I would imagine that's by design.
For sure.
Trying to soak up as much as you possibly can from a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you're only with each other for a short time, unless you get into that second round.
Here's the 3-1. Count goes full at 3-2. Vito Frisia, as we told you, he's one of those baseball stories you gotta love. A 40th round pick a few years ago. Didn't want to go after that pitch, but fouled it.
Wei Chung-won worked his way back into this count, down 3-0, now 3-2.
Nice job by the ball boy down the line. He played the carom on that little one-hop liner perfectly.
a crowd tonight here in Taichung. We're waking up for work on a Friday morning on the East Coast of the United States or anywhere else as Guan Yu Chen works in the Chinese Taipei bullpen. We got a fun one on a Friday night in Taiwan. Long comes set again. 3-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss for strike out number 2.
Now, he talked about it being down 3-0 after giving up 2 hits. All of a sudden, he's on the ropes with his changeup. Challenges him right here. That good changeup. We talked about him developing that once he lost a bit of velo. Looks like a weapon, big swing and miss.
So with 1 out, that brings up Nicky Lopez, who had the safety squeeze bunt to score a run in the 2nd inning. Wei Chung Long, now a member of the Weichuan Dragons, one of the CPBL's now 6 teams. So we're in the process of adding a team to round out that number. The TSG Hawks, who will begin play at the big league level next year. That league was 4 teams for so long, 5 for a while, getting it to 6. A 1-0 pitch, skied in the air, shallow left center. That'll get down for a base hit. Picked up out there by Chun, but a run will score. An RBI single for Nicky Lopez, and Italy cuts 1 off the deficit. It's 5-3.
Wow, in Italy. We talked about Chinese Taipei just ambushing that last inning. But they just keep coming at you. And that meant Dominic Fletcher. It's on the base running right here. This is a pitch that's kind of in between. You have to hold up to see if it's going to get caught. And as soon as he knew he was off to the races scoring that run. Tell you what, Nicky Lopez, he talked about his inability to get guys in with runners in scoring position. Struggled at the plate in 2022. And he's come up big a couple times already here in Pool A.
2 hits yesterday, drove in 2 runs in the 10th, scored a run in the 7th. And today, 1 for 1. 2 runs batted in on night number 2 of this classic for Italy, which had the off day back on Wednesday. Got the win last night over Cuba. And continuing to fight in the 4th inning here. Talking with Matt Harvey at breakfast today, the starting pitcher yesterday for Italy, and he said, you know, I feel like we probably have one of the best dynamics in our dugout and in our clubhouse. And you just look down there, and even trailing this game, the energy in this ballpark, which is 99.999% behind the squad wearing the home whites, they're not panicking in that Italy dugout by any stretch. And that's from the manager on down. As D'Andalusio had a laser beam of a triple to drive in a run his last time up. Trying to cut into the deficit a little bit more here in the 4th.
You know, Tyler, we talked about this during the qualifiers. I was always one to kind of, frown upon some of these countries where they get a lot of the guys that aren't essentially from that country. In other words, if they got maybe a dual passport or their parent, but they didn't grow up born and raised. Obviously, coming from Australia, we're all Australian coming out of there. But then we spoke to some of the guys from Great Britain. And it was fascinating because it kind of changed my thought on this and my perception, because one thing that bonded that team, because all those guys are essentially grown up in the United States, maybe a handful born in Great Britain, but the thing that brings them together is that one common denominator. They went around as a group and said, okay, what is your link to the UK, to Great Britain? What is it? And they went and shared their story and their lineage. And seeing this Italian team go to Italy this offseason and see what it's all about, what they're fighting for, why they're representing Italy. It just makes it special. It's different.
You know what's going to be really interesting to watch with that Great Britain team as well in the coming years is if the Bahamas ends up splitting off and starting its own federation / team for the World Baseball Classic or high-level competition, because the talent coming out of the Bahamas, of course, spearheaded by Jazz Chisholm, is incredible. They comprised a lot of the guys on that roster as well, but that was so fascinating with Great Britain, and Italy largely the same way. There are a handful of native-born Italians on this squad. Matteo Bocci, one of the pitchers on this team. Niccolo Pinazzi, Claudio Scotti. I mean, there are a handful, but would have been more if not for some injuries. Mike Piazza told us, you know, we had some guys get banged up. We could have had up to 10 guys from Italy on this team. Didn't end up panning out that way, but Mike Piazza is so dedicated to using this group to further develop baseball in Italy, and that to me is the thing that I really took away from our conversation. This is not a token sort of thing for him. He is very invested in Italian baseball, not just baseball players donning that jersey, playing in this event, and then going on their separate ways. Mike Piazza is dedicated to youth baseball, to facilities, to the restructuring of the league, the federation's investment. Wei Chung Wong continues to deal with the base traffic. Sullivan at second, Lopez at first. 2-2 pitch on the way. It is up and away, 3-2.
Yeah, these Italian hitters are so good when they're behind the count. It's impressive. Wei Chung Wong just working some deep counts at Chinese Taipei bullpen. Getting ready again. Kwan Yu Chen warming up.
3-2 in the air to center. Shen there to put it away. Tagging at second, digging for third. A good throw and just a shade tardy. Brett Sullivan able to advance on the second out of the inning.
Showing some speed for a catcher too. Usually catchers don't run well, but he was moving. And usually in this situation, you're not going to try and test the center fielder's arm because you don't want to be that third out, third base, but you got to be really sure you can get there, and you can see that speed from Brett Sullivan.
So with 2 out and runners at the corners, brings up Miles Mastrobuoni.
Tell you what, Italy's down by 2, but if you can get that run in at least at third base, you're sitting well here. Still plenty of time in this game.
Fouled on the right field line. We're swung around to the third base side a little bit and can make for an obstructed view out in left field, but man, we got the perfect view for line drives down the first base side, down the right field line, which ordinarily is so tricky as a broadcaster, and I feel so accomplished being able to read the pull on some of these balls, and that one hooks foul.
You're getting some compliments on social media, Tyler. Everyone's like, wow, he can really call the ball fair or foul. He really knows his foul territory.
This guy, just unbelievable aptitude with those fair foul calls.
Is that you? That's the impression of one of your Twitter followers?
That's a standard fan, you know. All these all-star selections in minor league baseball for Miles Mastrobuoni. 16, 17, 18, 19. That comprised 4 different levels. A level that no longer exists. Class A short season. The New York Penn League is no more, but climbing through that Tampa Bay Rays system, and he lines this one to center field. A base hit for Miles Mastrobuoni. He continues to produce out of the 9 spot, and it is now a 5-4 game in the 4th. With the way these at-bats and these innings have gone, we're going to be here all night. 9 combined runs now on 15 combined hits.
Yeah, there's going to be some grind at-bats, some deep counts by the looks of it. Both teams. I mean, Chinese Taipei, they're ambushing. Tell you what, Italy, so tough when they're deeper in the count.
Another rip, this one to right center field, and this is going to get this game tied and maybe more. Lopez scores, Mastrobuoni flying around third base, he is in. It's a 2-out, 2-run double for South Freelick, and Italy has erased the deficit and reclaimed the lead.
We talked about South Freelick being a little quiet last night. I couldn't wait to watch him swing it. That short stroke from the left side. This pitch up at the eye level. Look at that, just short, compact. Easy to see why he's a top 30 prospect in that Brewers system.
There's a lot of really exciting talent coming to Milwaukee, and Freelick along with Jackson Churio, two outfield prospects that rival any in baseball, and what an impressive rip from South Freelick.
Tyler, we've talked about this. We talked about it in the game today, 6th inning for Panama. We talked about this the opening night for Chinese Taipei. Some of the questionable moves or lack of with this pitching staff. It's pretty evident Wei Chung Wang is struggling to find answers, but they're sticking with him against one of the toughest outs.
1 ball and 1 strike on David Fletcher.
We saw this with Chi Wei Hu on that first night. It cost Chinese Taipei dearly. Panama ran away with that game. They had a lefty warming up in the bullpen.
That's foul down the left field line. Wei-Ping Lin, a legendary closer on the pitcher's mound in his career, the manager of this Chinese Taipei team, led the Uni-President Lions to a league title in the CPBL in his first season, that pandemic year of 2020. All-time saves leader. And juggling a difficult task here for the host team of Pool A.
Not only that too, David Fletcher's already faced Wei Chung Wang. This is that second at bat. So he knows what he's going to get. Again, tough guy to strike out. He was able to strike out Fletcher that first time. Angels utility man.
One-two pitch coming to Fletcher. Swing and a miss. He's gone on strikes again. And that retires the side. But not before Italy plates 4 to retake the lead, 6-5. Whole lot of emotion in this 2023 World Baseball Classic Pool A for the host squad, Chinese Taipei. A lead twice tonight. 1-0.
There's Travis, my man, Big Trav. Look at that.
Chinese Taipei rallied from a 2-1 deficit, took a 5-2 lead, and now trailing again 6-5 as we move into the bottom half of the 4th inning. The songs have started. I mean, you're an adopted Seattleite. You could probably headbang like that.
For sure. For sure.
So Wei Lin, the leadoff man, grounder to second, 1 up and 1 down.
Well, Seattle had more of the grunge scene, right?
True. That's,
you know, let's get it right. Nirvana, Pearl Jam.
You gotta be more moody than headbanging.
Yeah, there you go.
That's, that should be the title of your biography someday.
Yeah.
Leadoff man is retired. Here comes Yu Chang. Yu Chang kicked off that 4-run bottom of the 3rd inning with a double to left field. We'll see if Stephen Woods Jr. is the guy to stabilize things on the mound for Italy. So far, nobody has been able to. A run in the first for Chinese Taipei, a run in the second, 3 in the third.
I think that's a word for it to stabilize things. And that's why it's only 1 out, but the first out of this 4th inning is massive. Just give you a chance to get through a clean inning. Give Mike Piazza a chance for his pitches to settle in.
Chang is retired. Let's do an update from Pool B play in Tokyo right now. Samurai Japan with a 7-4 lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. Korea put 3 on the board in the top of the 3rd. Japan rallied immediately, 4 in the bottom of that inning to take the lead. They have started to pull away. Shohei Ohtani awaiting on deck as Korea goes to its bullpen in the bottom of the 6th. Striding to the plate in Tokyo. Yenting Wu, who's been really, really good so far through the first couple of nights for Chinese Taipei. Already on twice tonight, hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, singled and scored a run in the 3rd, and trying to get a 2-out rally started for Chinese Taipei here in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, Tyler, you'd expect Japan to finish first in that pool. So you're looking at this, one of these teams essentially, maybe even Italy, could be facing Japan. Once you get out of the pool play, into the quarterfinals, it turns into single elimination. Over there in the Tokyo Dome.
We were talking between innings. Lars Nootbaar from the St. Louis Cardinals is on that Japan team. He's like a reverse Shohei Ohtani right now. An American guy going over to play for Samurai Japan. He is a phenom. Ripped right into the shift on one hop, a 3-up, 3-down inning for the first time today for Chinese Taipei, and we are headed to the 5th. Italy with the lead, 6-5 over the home team. New arm into the game for Chinese Taipei as we go to the top of the 5th inning. The left-hander Guan Yu Chen takes over on the mound, and again, we've seen 11 combined runs on 16 combined hits through 4 innings. The Rakuten Monkeys lefty takes the mound.
Yeah, it's 7 years over in Japan, 2014 to 2020. See here, fastball, curveball, sinker, and that fork or that split. So that little pause at the top, which is pretty stock standard, especially in Japan. It has to change speeds, especially against this Italian lineup. These guys have to have those answers with 2 strikes. They are so good with 2 strikes. Tell you what, Chinese Taipei went through all their pitches. We saw that graphic up on the screen, how many guys they used that first game. They don't have an off day after this. So you've got to be pretty cluey with what you do, the way you structure this bullpen.
Leadoff man for Italy here in the top of the 5th inning is Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino singled to left field in the 1st inning, 4-3 ground out in the 3rd. And the big fella from Richmond, Virginia takes ball 1. Ryan Roland Smith did his best Jojo Romero impression a moment ago. Crushed Red Bull, smashed it against his forehead.
Fired up, this crowd. It's got me drinking Red Bulls.
2 balls and no strikes. Vinny Pasquantino, so good as an offensive player, but the power shows up more against right-handed pitching. He's facing a lefty right now, but look at the average against lefties.
Wow. It's amazing. You want to be an everyday player in the big leagues, you've got to hit both, especially from the left side. Look at that, 352. I guarantee those home runs are going to come against lefties.
He is just incredible. He's the type of guy who makes you wonder, how did he last until the 11th round? The skill set, what he did in college, now obviously going to Old Dominion, it's a little bit different school. He's not maybe scouted the same way that an SEC player would be or something like that, but Vinny Pasquantino, the Kansas City Royals somehow got a steal with him, and he's the guy that you look at now and think, he was a first-rounder. That wasn't the case with him.
Because scouting is so tough. I mean, I have to give those guys so much credit. And discredit too, like you said, the fact that a guy like this slides 11 rounds. Someone brought it up to me, hey, would you like to get involved in scouting? I said I'd be terrible at it. I would really struggle. It's tough. We've got friends who scout. I don't know how they do it.
Unable to hold up there. The count is 3-2. Told you the story the first time I saw Andrelton Simmons, who's a member of that Netherlands roster, 2-0 so far. Saw him in the Carolina League, and he had a bad weekend. I thought, this guy's not all he's cracked up to be. And then 4 or 5 gold gloves later in the major leagues. Big pitch coming up here to the leadoff man in the 5th. 3-2. Called strike 3. Out number 1 is strikeout number 1 for Guan Yu Chen.
And that definitely goes against the skill set and the scouting report from Vinny Pescantino. Extremely patient, but tough to strike out. And it's just a fastball middle. Obviously looking at something breaking, froze him up. It's a big strikeout.
So the 3-hole hitter is gone, and that brings in the Arizona Diamondbacks prospect Dominic Fletcher, number 17 prospect in that organization, according to MLB Pipeline. And man, if this World Baseball Classic start for Dominic Fletcher is any indication, I don't think that ranking is going to last that low for long. This has been a coming out party of sorts for Dominic Fletcher. Out on an outfield assist, showing off a terrific arm. A couple of innings ago, he's been on base twice and scored twice tonight. A single and a run scored in the 2nd, walk and a run scored in the 4th. He led off both of those innings.
And you talk about how impressive his brother is. Obviously, Major League utility man for the Los Angeles Angels. There he is. His younger brother, I've got to say, different style of hitting, that's for sure. More power. Still hits for high average, more patient. Both these guys are getting a chance to play on the same team for the first time.
Two balls and 2 strikes. And that's a good note. Those two guys, one of 4 sets of brothers in Pool A. These are actual photos. No Photoshop used here for any of these. I like how in the shots of all, we've got such a variety of classy looks. Some sweaters under jackets, some shirt and tie. It's just good brotherly photography is what that
Definitely
is.
not Photoshop.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
All the parents of these brothers supplied these photos, which is very nice of them. Thank you.
Also a very strong mustache family, the Fletcher duo.
Matching mustache.
These two guys, David and Dominic Fletcher, have only played together on a team once, and that was at Cypress High School in California. That was in 2013. It was only for 1 season. David was a senior. Dominic was a freshman. They won the CIF Division II championship, the Centurions. Dominic spends his offseason in Arkansas, product of the Razorbacks. David lives in South Orange County. Swing and a miss on 3-2. So back-to-back strikeouts for Guan Yu Chen. And 2 gone, bases empty for Brett Sullivan.
And Guan Yu Chen, 2 big strikeouts from 2 tough hitters. First of all, Vinny Pescantino, Major League first baseman for the Kansas City Royals, and Dominic Fletcher, huge prospect in the D-back system. Left on left. Wow, a couple tough guys to strike out. And that bullpen's going to get absolute working tonight. See CC Lee, we got a chance to see him pitch the first night. Former big leaguer.
Brett Sullivan, pair of singles, pair of runs scored. San Diego Padres prospects. Sullivan is one of 4 catchers on this roster. Now, not all of them are just strictly catchers. Vito Fricia is in the lineup as the DH and in the on-deck circle right now. Vinny can play first base, he can play the outfield as well. Those 2 guys, Dominic Maroglio and Alberto Mineo, who is one of the native-born Italians. He's out of Gorizia. and he plays for Parma in Serie A, the top-level Italian baseball league. Sullivan, another guy with a lot of minor league credentials, and he takes a 4-pitch walk with 2 outs to set it up for Freesia.
I'd say pitch and change right here. I think we will. Chang getting a chance to face 3 lefties, and they're probably going to hand it over to the righty.
3-batter minimum is in play here in Taiwan, and the rest of our pools for the opening round of the World Baseball Classic. And a visit to the mound here from Ming-Che Shu. Pitching coach hails from Kaohsiung City and works with the Raggeds and Monkeys, and this is just a conversation.
Yeah, they're going to stick with him. Here's a guy who faces righties and lefties throughout his career. Again, they have to start conserving a little bit in that bullpen. A lot of guys got a lot of work first night, and they got the day off yesterday. Don't have a day off these next couple days.
Eight pitchers in total used by Chinese Taipei in game 1. We're on number 3 here tonight as Vito Freesia takes ball 1. Two balls and no strikes, nowhere close there. That is 6 straight out of the zone since the back-to-back strikeouts. Japan has blown it open in Tokyo. It is an 11-4 lead now for Samurai Japan over arch rival Korea. That game is headed to the top of the 7th. These fans here trying to get Guan Yu Chen back dialed in. There's strike 1. From the belt, very short lead over there for Brett Sullivan, and the pitch is fouled off the front foot of Vito Freesia. He finds himself in a 2-2 count.
It's a changeup. Way out front. You're taking out that chili. That spike. It's a big out right here for Guan Yu Chen, trying to get his team back in the dugout.
Vito Freesia, that frame listed at 6'3", 225. He takes up that entire batter's box with that wide stance. 2-2 fouled away. He is a very imposing presence in the box.
Now, one thing Guan Yu Chen struggled with in 2021 was the long ball. Got back on track last year. Cannot make a mistake. Appreciate hit the ball to center field with some authority.
Chen might have just wanted to go over something different there with Brett Sullivan barely off the bag, and he checked on him with the throw. Ready once more, 2-2 pitch, and a bouncer foul.
Keeping that change up below the strike zone. Look at this sequence. Sinker changeup, go back in the count, that 4-seam fastball. You're going to see nothing but change-ups right here. Lefty on deck, Nicky Lopez. They're trying to get on the same page too. It's one of those tense moments where you start to second guess what you have to offer. You faced a couple of lefties, big strikeouts. You're trying to figure out that third best option against righties. That's that changeup. You want to get it over. Another one.
5 straight fouls now. This Italy team just keeps on getting deep into counts, deep into at-bats. There's 106 pitches thrown by the 3 arms on the mound so far tonight for Chinese Taipei. 2-2 coming. And another foul ball. This one toward the first couple rows, and it'll get back in him.
And playing with fire, throwing that fastball middle in this situation. 90 miles per hour, pretty flat. They've been grinding these pitches from Chinese Taipei.
It's number 9 coming up.
With the breaking ball right here.
Another 2-2. Buried it. Sullivan off of first and back in before the throw got there, and the count is full. Gungguan Gilligalau really has that ideal catcher's build. He's the kind of wide body, big target.
Right.
Seems to move very well, blocks things, handles all of that stuff, and was trying to get that throw back in behind Brett Sullivan. Here comes a 3-2, runner off, and another foul ball. What an at-bat here from the Phillies prospect.
Yeah, this is a huge at-bat. Not to mention, obviously, you see the 10 pitches. You're seeing that changeup easily. You're not going to beat him. You're not going to get that swing and miss. You just have to generate that weak contact somehow. You have to stick with that plan A. Do not want to cough up a fastball middle here, make a mistake. Can't give in. Another changeup.
3-2. Ball 4. And it is first and second with 2 out. What a plate appearance from the 2019 40th round draft pick. His manager, a 62nd round pick, Mike Piazza, when he was taken, a round that has long since ceased to exist. And a pitching change coming up for Chinese Taipei, and we will step aside with it. Runners at first and second after back-to-back 2-out walks. Top of the 5th. Inside jump. Welcome back to the 2023 World Baseball Classic with former Major Leaguer and 2-time World Baseball Classic veteran Ryan Roland Smith. My name is Tyler Mon. Back in Taichung, Taiwan at the Intercontinental Baseball Stadium for our coverage of Pool A. That is the National Taichung Theater, which officially opened in 2016. What a gorgeous building. It's actually, I believe, pretty close to where we're staying. Ryan is going out with these guys later.
That's right.
Hit up the club. Actually, what was crazy a moment ago, they started playing the Lion King song. Ryan held me out over the crowd. It's quite a moment.
New pitch in the game, Hugh Sun Chen. This is one of their guys. Look at those numbers. First of all, 1.77 ERA was the league leader in saves. This is who they call the agent of chaos.
2019 CBBL All-Star Game. He took a selfie on the mound. The agent of chaos. It was in his glove. Look at this dude. Amazing.
It's awesome.
And he's on in the top of the 5th. Wow, nearly. Was able to nab Vito Frisia, straying a little bit too far off the bag over there.
A little back pick, you don't usually see that. The lead runner at second. Yeah, this guy's quite the personality. You could hear the crowd too when they announced his name. They did play the Lion King song, man. Is that his walkout song? Tyler, I expected you to know this information as I was holding you out like Simba.
I was so mesmerized by the moment that I neglected to do my research into that. First pitch there for a strike.
That's his big weapon. That forkball or that split. He's got no rotation. Mid-90s fastball.
Yushun Chen, right now, a member of this roster under the manager, Yue Ping Lin, who is the all-time CPBL saves leader, and he's closing in on that record. 119 in his career. He pitched in 46 games last season for the Rakuten Monkeys in the CPBL, and closing in on that mark. That nickname, the Agent of Chaos, he has earned it via some colorful behavior. Doesn't hold back emotionally, let's put it that way.
Love it.
He'll voice his displeasure with umpires. He's gotten into some scrapes on the field.
Gets into it with the fans, apparently.
Foul at the plate, and now throw back into second. Back in safely, Brett Sullivan. Sullivan seems to be all right, but we've seen a handful of guys today, and you do kind of wonder if this humidity, it is just a very sticky sort of night. If that's messed with some players, that might have just been a bit of a jam on the slide back in. Lopez in and waiting. RBI single his last trip to the plate.
And they're paying a ton of attention to Brett Sullivan. Yes, he's a catcher, but he can run. He's frustrated. Look at that unwritten rule. If a guy rolls his ankle a little bit, you start messing with him over there if there's no chance he's moving. You see him hugging that bag right now as it's Sage's pitch.
Another foul, 1 and 2. Should chin that last step off, and Brett Sullivan not pleased.
It's intense, man. I mean, look, you go from spring training into these games.
Yep.
You get them amongst your teammates, all wearing that Italian jersey. They have that pride across the jersey. He's an intense dude.
Agent of chaos for a reason.
That's right.
Good block there by Gilligalau. 2 and 2 now.
Now, he talked about some of the numbers. 1.77 ERA. See right there, right in the center of that glowing scouting report, the Agent of Chaos. He throws that split, throws it a ton, about 50% of the time. He throws a fastball around 92, 93. You see right there too, one of the most reliable relievers. You know, we talked about the Italian team trying to have some stability with that pitching. Same goes with his Chinese Taipei team.
Yushun Chen trying to keep this thing in a 1-run deficit for his team in the 5th. Nicky Lopez waits. Line back up the middle into center field. Lopez comes through again. Sullivan may be hobbled, but it's not going to matter as he scores. And Italy adds another one. It's a 7-5 lead.
Man, Nicky Lopez coming up big again. Runners in scoring position. The energy is zapped just for a second out of this bullpen, out of this ballpark. Look at this fastball, challenges him up in the strike zone. And Nicky Lopez staying back up the middle. It's a big run. Just watching Brett Sullivan, watching how he's moving on that ankle. Still moving well around that third base.
Good to see that. The Brett Sullivan appears all right. And Nicky Lopez coming through again for this Italy team. The safety squeeze to drive in a run in the second, an RBI single in the fourth, an RBI single here in the fifth. Italy has put 5 on the board the last 2 innings to erase that 3-run deficit. And Brett Sullivan probably gets some attention in that third base dugout to make sure he's all right. Swinging a fly ball into shallow center. This could be a tricky one, and it is the right fielder, Tsuwei Lin, who makes the catch. But Italy tacks on one more, and this game heads to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's a 2-run lead for the visitors, 7-5. The 2022 Mission Classic trip to Italy featured undoubtedly some delicious espresso, and this Italy team, led by Mike Piazza, they decided to keep that tradition alive. These are the photos from that Mission Classic trip. There's the espresso shot.
It's carried on into the dugout. I love it. We spotted that as we're looking through these photos of the team in Italy. You see big Vinny Crescentino, but we did spot the espresso machine. It's like it's a given, right? Apparently, if you're playing for Italy, that man right there, Mike Piazza, going all in. I'm going to say now, by the way, it is known as a cafe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. There it is. Looks good. Look at the little guy.
Like now it's in action right now. That is Michele Garoli, who is the outfield coach from Parma.
Yes, a cafe, simply an espresso, served black and only in 1-shot increment, Tyler. Don't try and ask for your froth milk or your half and half or your cream, as you Americans call it. No. Espresso shot, that's it. So if you're playing for Team Italy, boom, that's all you get.
You got to go straight espresso.
That's right.
Should we tell the people tuned in about your drink orders this week?
Hey, go for it.
Should we explain this? Ryan and I have made it a tradition. We've now done broadcasts, 4 different countries together at this stage. We never in America, where we both live, by the way, but 4 countries otherwise. And we like to find coffee shops. We found some very cool ones. We found an incredible coffee shop in Tokyo a couple years back. Michele Garoli
joined a cafe.
You know,
he's the team barista, by the way.
At this rate, it's going to be a while before he gets to sleep, so presumably the caffeine will wear off from this. But Ryan and I found a terrific coffee shop near our hotel a couple of mornings ago. We walk in and we're putting our order in, and Ryan orders a latte and says, "How many shots normally come in a latte?" And the guy says 2, and Ryan says, "All right, can I get a latte with 4 shots?" And
I hit the count, bang. I said, "Make it 4." His head nearly exploded.
And he said, "Wow!" The most astounded I have ever seen at a coffee order. People were popping out from behind closed doors like, who is this lunatic ordering 4-shot espresso in this latte? What is this dude doing here? Yes, Gungan Gilligau is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th.
I'll tell you what, Stephen Woods, he talks about stabilizing this pitching. It's a good breaking ball right there. They've got the lead. Now it's time to figure it out on the mound in between the espresso shots.
Believe it or not, that's the first strikeout of the night for a Chinese Taipei hitter. 6 on the other side for Italy. All balls in a strike. On the 7-0 hitter,
Chen. You know, we talked about Mike Piazza maybe needing to scroll through some of the arms in this bullpen to see who would handle this atmosphere the best, because Ryan Castellani didn't last long, just 2 innings in the start. Joe Biagini, just a third of an inning. But Stephen Woods Jr., he has gotten this thing leveled out. Doing some good work to this point for Italy.
And getting that first out is massive. Yeah, the run probability obviously diminishes when you get that first out of an inning, believe it or not. But it just settles you in. You go to work. You're constantly giving up base runs with none out. The stress pitches mount up. It's different to throw pitches with no one on. Talking about high leverage situations, but when you're constantly out there battling through at-bats with runners behind you, makes it tough.
Breaking ball, slapped back up the middle of base hit. That is the first knock since the close of the third. It was a 3-up, 3-down fourth and a leadoff out in the fifth. And Chen is aboard with 1 gone. And that brings up Dawang, the great king, Ho Young Wong. Just can't get enough of the nicknames on this team. Ho Young Wong, a guy who you saw there last season play with the Nippon Ham Fighters in Nippon Professional Baseball in Japan. He is one of the greatest homegrown talents, especially from the position player side, that Taiwan has ever produced. First player ever to be posted and sold to Nippon Professional Baseball. He bounces that one through the shift. What a pickup by David Fletcher at the last second, reaching out and snaring it and getting the out at first. Wow.
And that is a huge out. He's pulled on the other side of the bag. He has played some second base. We know he's a utility man, but this is a tough play. Playing that ball behind him, 360. Throwing a strike to big Vinny Pasquantino over there at first base. Big out. Otherwise, you're looking at runners at first and third.
One ball and no strikes on Kunyu Tiong, the shortstop out of the 9 spot, who is 0 for 2. Reached on an error charged to Nicky Lopez in the 3rd inning that brought home a run and at the time gave Chinese Taipei a 5-2 lead. That has vanished. And that inning wraps up on that grounder. And we enter the 6th. Chinese Taipei still trailing Italy with a 2-run lead. Well, where Italy's baseball history may not be as pronounced as the United States, the history of Italian Americans in baseball is extremely extensive. As you look at some of the great names throughout baseball history, great players, great managers, and 2 managers in that shot. Dodgers legends Tommy Lasorda and Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza, legend as a player for the Los Angeles Dodgers, now trying to craft his managerial legacy with Team Italy as the Parma resident.
We get a chance to ask him if managing is something he wants to do in the U.S., perhaps?
We did not ask him that.
Curious. See how he goes with this World Baseball Classic.
Based on the conversations that we had with Mike Piazza, it seems like he wants to make his focus Italian baseball in Italy. Living in Parma, being so involved with this team, being so involved with the federation. We also had a really interesting conversation with him about the Italian League, Serie A, and some of the issues right now. Gianmarco Ferroni, who's the GM of this team, was also part of that conversation. Some of the issues right now with that league and the fact that it just seems to be especially oversaturated with teams, and yet the distribution of talent is concentrated really among about 3 teams. And if there is a restructuring that should be part of the process to generate some more interest in some better level play in that league. It's fascinating to see just how much Mike Piazza is making this his mission to improve the quality of Italian baseball in Italy as a bouncing ball. The first is out number 1. Miles Mascaboni retired, and here is Sal Frelick, who 2 innings ago launched a monster hit for Italy.
Yeah, this is on the first pitch. We talked about how good these at-bats have been, but look at this. Talked about that short, compact swing from the left side. First pitch, blew it open for Team Italy. Yeah, plus, I mean, thinking Mike Piazza, he's living over in Italy now. I mean, it would take a lot for him to say, yeah, sure, I'll interview for this managerial job, but hey, who knows? He might get the bug after hanging out with these guys on Team Italy.
Fortitudo, Bologna, Parma, Clima, San Marino, those are the 3 that are really the dominant forces in modern-day Italian baseball. Reigning champions San Marino from the last couple of years. Pitch up and away, 1 ball and 1 strike to Sal Frelick. Sal Frelick last year, an outstanding breakout season in the Milwaukee Brewers organization. And he lifts this one in the air to center, got under it. 2 away. With the bases empty, that'll bring up David Fletcher. Italy has been retired in order just once tonight. That was back in the 3rd. Last inning started with 2 outs from the first 2 men, and then strung together 2 walks and a single for a run to extend the lead to 7-5. And David Fletcher, who was 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts tonight, takes ball 1 down.
The agent of chaos, the pitcher, start changing that delivery. The crowd loved it. That leg kick, bit of hesitation.
3 balls and no strikes as he goes way up and in. Telling David Fletcher, hey, it's nothing malicious there. Just lost that pitch, 3-0. And grooves in a fastball for a strike at 92.
David Fletcher's been prone to the swing and miss, more so than what we have seen this time with the Angels. Talk about how much contact he makes.
3-2.
Being patient right here too.
Vinny Pasquantino in the on-deck circle if it gets to him. 3-2 pitch is lined to right field and down for a base hit. Italy continues to do work with 2 outs.
Yeah, he talked about him being patient. One of the reasons he's so aggressive is because he's got Mike Trout hitting right after him, and Shohei Ohtani's going to get pitched to. But look at these 2. Nicky Lopez, David Fletcher. See those exit velos, 4th lowest and lowest in the big leagues. But still able to get 250 plus, 278.
And it looks like we might have a pitching change coming up here, and we will. So the agent of chaos will see his night come to an end. And with Vinny Pasquantino stepping into the batter's box, a new arm will step onto the pitcher's mound for Chinese Taipei. 7-5, Italy leads it here in the 6th. Chinese Taipei pitching change here in the top of the 6th inning. Ryan tried to do this earlier today, did not catch a single one of these dropping things.
That's definitely not true. I have not tried that yet, but I want to. We have to locate that machine.
We do. It looks like it was out near the arena.
You and I have to go at it, compete.
Okay, I'm into that. New arm into the game for Chinese Taipei as we move along here in the top of the 6th inning. It is the left-hander Yenqing Liu who takes over. Another guy pitching in his home ballpark.
Yeah, really good numbers with the brothers this year. 198 ERA, 20 saves. And they're going with that left-on-left matchup against Vinny Pescatino. Struck out twice his last 2 times up.
We're only in the 6th inning. This is already Vinny Pasquantino's fourth at-bat. And looking for his 2nd hit. And now on the pickoff, runner moving and not even gonna have to pitch to him. David Fletcher erased on the base path, picked off, caught stealing, and that will do it for the top of the 6th as Italy runs into the final out. Now, hold on a second. Italy may challenge this. We're waiting to see if Fletcher may have gotten a foot under the tag, but doesn't look as though Italy will challenge as they're already headed out to the field. So the out recorded on the bases, going to the bottom of the 6th in a 2-run game. Straying a little bit too far away from first base, David Fletcher is nabbed on the base path to end the top of the 6th inning.
Yeah, this is just trying to get into scoring position for Vinny Pescatino. You know, when you got your biggest bat up hitting, and for Liu, you know, you get so caught up in who you're facing, how you're going to pitch to him, and you glance over, see David Fletcher take off, you're like, whoop, just going to get a cheap out, finish the inning. Tell you what, Stephen Woods, what a job he has done. 2 2/3 inning thus far, and just settling down this Chinese Taipei, the crowd, the offense, neutralizing all the energy in this stadium. Italy have gone up 7-5.
Meeting of the minds in that third base dugout. Blake Butera, the man in the middle of the screen, the bench coach for Mike Piazza's staff. Michael Borzello, the pitching coach, as they strategize how to try to get this thing across the line. And at the bottom of the 6th, that feels a long way away.
Yeah, really does. Stephen Woods right now with that pitch count, 35 pitches. In good shape, and you saw Mike Piazza there talking over all different scenarios. Finish off these innings and get to their closer.
And it just seems like this crowd has been comparatively a little subdued over the last couple of innings, and all of a sudden they flipped the switch back at the top of the order here to start the 6th, and they are right back to 100.
Yeah, you get that feeling. They get one base runner, this place is going to be on their feet. Like we saw in those first couple of innings.
One too high, 2-2.
Now, one thing with Stephen Woods, the biggest thing holding him back has been that command. His time in professional baseball stopped him from getting to the big leagues, but man, he has been dialed in with that command this outing.
They're out to second, an easy play for Miles Mastrobuoni. Leadoff man is gone. Sun Tae-chun 1 for 4 tonight. 4th time through the lineup for each of these teams here in the 6th inning. Lee Lin is 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. In for his 2nd look at Stephen Woods Jr. Woods came on in the 3rd with his team having already allowed 5 runs in this game, 3 in that inning. And he has been the steadying force that Italy needed tonight. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this, walks per 9, 7.6 walks per 9 2022 in AA. Not been the case tonight at all.
In fact, Chinese Taipei's hitters have not worked a walk against any Italy pitcher tonight. 2 balls and a strike now on Lee Lin, who is 4 for his first 8 here in Pool A. So the music
music's coming from up on the concourse on the first base side. 3-1. Talk about being locked in. You're the band conductor. Can't be off beat at all.
Is he the conductor though, or he's just turning around and telling these musicians?
He might just be a guy who's really into it. 3-2 is the first walk of the night for Chinese Taipei. Let's take a look back at the first inning, the first trip to the plate tonight for Ziwei Lin. And he made a count with an electrifying moment.
Yeah, got a pitch to hit that hanging slider. He lifted the roof off this building with this swing. Ball was crushed.
And look at this reaction from inside the stands at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium. Huge credit to our tape guys for getting that one onto this broadcast tonight. Men and women of this crew have done such unbelievable work through our first 5.5 games. And after tonight, we still got 4 more from here in Taichung. Ziwei Lin a whole lot of money from the Boston Red Sox, made the climb through their minor league ranks, reached the big leagues, currently a free agent, and in the U.S. it's pronounced Ziwei Lin, given the pronunciation guide by Richard Wong. His nickname here in Taiwan, ironically enough, is Boston, and the guy who's a big Red Sox fan, and Boston gave us a pronunciation guide pronouncing it Ziwei Lin. 28-year-old who spent this past offseason for the Northern Hemisphere Leagues, playing in the Southern Hemisphere summer with the Auckland Tuatara of the Australian Baseball League. 25 games, 337 average, and a 1,000 OPS for the lone New Zealand-based team in that circuit. Fouled off the right shin. Looks like he got at least part of the shin guard, but still doesn't feel very good. It'll get back in there on 1-2. Pitch. Fouled again.
It's that hard in the lineup for Chinese Taipei here in the 6th inning. Got Yu Chang, Boston Red Sox on deck. Stephen Woods. He's at 48 pitches right now. I guarantee it's been a while since he's thrown 48 pitches coming out of the winter. It is March. He's happy. Got it out these last couple pitches. 2 big at-bats here in the 6th.
1-2, swung on and missed, and a great job by Brett Sullivan. Maybe not. Sullivan saying he caught that cleanly, and home plate umpire Chris Siegel doesn't agree. And you can see Brett Sullivan say, "Can we challenge that?"
Wow. And that could be huge.
File that away.
It's a changeup. Yeah, hit the cap. Cool. We can't challenge that. Saying we can't challenge that. Drop third strike. Good thing they did. Ball did hit the dirt. Big pitch.
1 1-2 in the air. Into right. Dominic Fletcher. 2 gone.
And this is probably essentially going to be the last hitter for Stephen Woods Jr. And it's a big leaguer, Hugh Chang, a guy who fans were very upset when he announced that he wasn't going to be joining this team back on January 1st. They took to it on social media. A couple days later, he reversed his decision. Here he is. Big moment right here, tying run.
Batting in a monster spot here, and for Stephen Woods Jr. at 50 pitches, he is done for the remainder of this opening round. But now has the leash of 15 more if Italy wants to continue using him.
Yeah, no one warming up in that Italian bullpen right now. Might try and squeeze something more out of him. That's that conversation you have to have when he goes back to the dugout, that real conversation. Look him in the eye and say, hey, listen, you got any more left because you have been outstanding.
Swinging a drive, high and deep right center. Gone! Yu Chang ties it up in the 6th.
But no bigger moment in his career in front of his home crowd. It's a fastball in the middle of the plate. Wastes no time. Takes into the center field seats. Wow, what a moment.
And Ryan, you told the story. Yu Chang initially was not even going to be part of this team. And he just delivered one of the biggest swings of his life for Chinese Taipei. Stephen Woods Jr., such brilliant work out of the bullpen, and maybe just running out of steam here. An emotionally exhausting effort in the 6th.
Yeah, man, look at this. Trying to sneak that fastball by him. Huge swing, wow.
Big cut and miss there on 1-2 from Yenting Wu, and that will do it in the 6th. But Yu Chang comes through, and Chinese Taipei is back even. 7 runs on 10 hits on each side, and we're headed to the 7th with nothing decided in Taichung. There's one of the heroes of the night so far for Chinese Taipei. A 2-run homer a moment ago from Yu Chang. Look at that moment. Vinny Pasquantino pops one up. Catch made, 1 out. Vinny Pasquantino, we got actually a note a little while ago from J.J. Cooper of Baseball America. We were talking about, man, how does Vinny Pasquantino fall to the 11th round? Vinny Pasquantino actually injured a little bit during his junior year in college. Rebounded for his senior year. Yu Chang, his celebration.
Yeah, we're gonna revisit this. I mean, what a moment. Talk about the fact he's got a chance to play in the major leagues, but look, when you've got your country across your chest, that's going to be way up there in memories for him and moments throughout his career, regardless of what he does at the major league level.
That salute line in front of the first base dugout, pretty cool as well. The underrated moment of that celebration, Yu Chang kissing his jersey as he came around 3rd. And again, for a guy who at the outset of this year, was not going to be part of this World Baseball Classic, showing what this means to him, and even more so what it means to these fans and to this island.
what a moment. And Ryan, when we went to break, you pointed this out to me, the chant continued the entire inning break from these fans too.
Yeah. Let him know he came back out of the dugout, and they want to just keep letting him know what that meant, tying this game up.
7-7 ball game in the 7th. Dominic Fletcher, who is 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Facing a 1-2 count. Called strike 3.
Sudden, that momentum, we've talked about this since we got here, the momentum shifting back and forth throughout these 9 innings. Black fastball. Look at that thing. Nothing you can do with that pitch.
The 2 out, base is empty. Each of the last 2 innings, Chinese Taipei pitching has retired the first 2 Italy batters. The third man is reached. But last inning, David Fletcher, 2-out single. He was caught straying too far off of first and erased on the base paths before Yen-Ching Liu even had to throw a pitch to Vinny Pasquantino. Pasquantino popping out to start this inning. Strikeout for Fletcher, and now a 1-1 count on Brett Sullivan. And that guy just living on cloud 9 right now. 1-1.
And regardless of what happens in these next couple innings, Vinny Pasquantino, the biggest weapon in this Italian lineup, the biggest threat, he will still get 1 more at bat, at least.
Ooh, that one just missing. 3 balls and a strike. And the 3-1 pitch is ball 4. So the go-ahead run on board, and that's now 3 innings in a row in which Chinese Taipei rather has retired the first 2 and then seen a runner reach. Korea, we got the Japan-Korea game on here in the booth. It's a 13-4 lead for Japan in the bottom of the 8th inning in that one. And the standings in this group, as of game number 6, where we sit right now, I mean, all kinds of drama. It's 7-7 in the 7th. If Italy wins, we've got 2 very clear-cut teams with the inside track to the quarterfinal round in Tokyo. If Chinese Taipei wins, it is chaos behind the Netherlands with 4 one-win teams.
And we joked about this earlier. We said, oh, you know, what happens if we get to those last couple of days and we're going to try and figure out some of the things beyond the wins and losses, how this all breaks down. Looks like we're heading that way. So who wants that second spot behind the Netherlands?
These fans getting a little restless with Chris Siegel, the home plate umpire.
Again, he's dialed in that glove side, down in to right, he's down the way to lefties. Owns that spot, just not getting the call. See Hugh Chang taking a little bit of that leadership role right now. Talking big picture right here.
Here's a look at that bullpen. Chen Wei Tseng and CC Lee working. CC Lee on the right of your screen, the former big leaguer. For my money, the best nickname on this Chinese Taipei team. We'll get to that if we see him again.
Better than Agent of Chaos? How do you top that?
I know. It's not easy. 2-0 pitch in the dirt, 3-0. Oh, we'll get to it.
I'll be waiting. I want to hear it.
Vito Frisia facing a 3-0 count, looking for his second straight walk and Italy's second straight walk here in the 7th. Instead, he takes strike 1. Bends in there for a strike, and it's full.
Yeah, every time Chinese Taipei have put up some runs, Italy have answered right back. We are 7-7.
Vito Frisia has worked some really good at-bats tonight. And a full count offering is on the way to him. And it's in the dirt, back-to-back walks, first and second now. Go-ahead run in scoring position for Nicky Lopez, who's already got 3 runs batted in tonight, a couple of singles, and a safety squeeze bunt.
This is interesting. I think it's just a mount visit. I think with Lou, you stick with that left on left. Sam being a little bit more careful with his righties, but with lefties, that's his bread and butter. Fastball slider combination. He's got Vinny Pasquantino, he's got Dominic Fletcher.
Chechu, the pitching coach, heads back to that first base dugout.
And this has been the biggest bat for this Italian lineup. Nicky Lopez doing serious damage when it counts. Can he come up big here again? Get a fastball middle away, take it right back up the middle and break this game open.
Nicky Lopez seeing everything tonight for Italy. That safety squeeze to drive in his team's first run came back in the 2nd inning. RBI single in the 4th, RBI single in the 5th. He scored a run in the 4th as well. First pitch to him, goes right after it and sends it to short. Throw is going to have to be across the diamond, and it's there in time from Chong to get him. Chinese Taipei gets out of the jam, and we head to the bottom of the 7th in a 7-7 game. It doesn't get any better than this. A 7-7 game on night number 3 of the World Baseball Classic as we go to the 7th inning. First pitch swinging to start the bottom of the 7th inning. A leadoff out as Gungwan Gilligalau bounces out to the left side of the infield. 1 up, 1 down. And how about Mike Piazza sticking with Stephen Woods Jr., who is nearing 60 pitches. 65, the absolute limit, unless you're in the middle of an at-bat. You can finish that at-bat. But Stephen Woods Jr., he is going to take this thing as far as possible.
Yeah, it looked like he was at the end of his rope, obviously. Not just physically, but mentally too. That big moment with Yu Chang, that last inning. He's working up quite the sweat. He's got a brand new hat, by the way. He was sweating through that last cap, and yeah, he's got the fresh one. Good call. But this is massive. This has been a big story for Italy. I know they've had plenty of offense, but their pitching has just been unsettled. All of a sudden, Stephen Woods comes in, quiets his crowd down, and just settles everything in. Obviously, the home run. If they can get another 10 pitches from him, massive. And again, Tyler, we talked about the conversation that happens. He goes back to the dugout. I guarantee you, Mike Piazza and the pitching coach for Team Italy look him in the eye and say, what do you got? Be honest. Of course, he's not going to say no, but you really have to go with your gut. Mike Piazza, first-time manager, you have to know your guys. So this is massive.
Strike 1. Woods cresting over 60 pitches. Ryan Castellani, 1 mandatory day of rest. Joe Biagini's good to go tomorrow. Tough day today, though.
Good pitch.
Strike 2.
Right back in there with that fastball. Look at this tempo, too. Right back on the mound, wasting no time. Fastball on the knees. There you go, curveball right here.
3-2 breaking ball stays up high. A 1-out walk. And this will spell the end more than likely. The last batter probably to face Stephen Woods Jr. is the great king, Po-Young Wong, unless Italy goes to the bullpen beforehand. And pitching coach Michael Borzello out from the third base dugout. Samurai Japan and noted world's coolest man Shohei Ohtani, 13-4 winners over Korea. That game has just gone final in Tokyo Dome. So Korea, a shocking 0-2 start to this World Baseball Classic, and a pitching change underway for Italy. Yeoman's work done by Stephen Woods Jr., and Italy going to the bullpen in the 7th. Prizefighter Rocky Marciano is the only heavyweight champion to have ever finished his career undefeated. And if you're thinking, wow, this is a stretch to pull out a connection to athletics for an Italian American, it's not, because the new arm into the game for Italy is his cousin twice removed, Joey Marciano, who takes over on the pitcher's mound, inheriting a base runner here in the 7th.
Man, he has a heavyweight battle on his hands right here in the middle of this lineup. The Chinese Taipei, Joey Marciano coming in the thick of it. Look at that big body lefty, fierce competitor. He can get that fastball up to the mid-90s. He's got to command this slider. This is a pitch. He's got to be a put-away pitch outside the strike zone. What a big moment. You talk about coming into this kind of environment, this atmosphere. Stephen Woods Jr. with a fantastic job.
Outstanding work today from Stephen Woods Jr. Joey Marciano, when we went to the team workouts a few days ago, you could tell he is a guy that other guys gravitate toward. Great energy, big gregarious left-handed pitcher on this team, and his first pitch is inside for ball 1, 1-0 to Po-Young Wong. And actually, check that, a pinch hitter in this spot, pinch hitting for a one-time Triple Crown winner is Jin Chang, an outfielder from Tainan and from the Rakuten Monkeys. Chang back up the middle. That'll scoot through for a base hit. Pinch hitter comes through, first and second, 1 out in the 7th.
Well, when you pinch hit for a triple crown winner, you better deliver. That ball just getting away from Marciano, just away from his glove. Back up the middle. Chinese Taipei are back in business. The fastball middle. Look at this, just get beyond that big glove with the big 6'5" lefty.
Now it's Gun Yu Jong. And first pitch swinging, he fouls it back.
We'll say this, on moments like this, when the crowd's getting amped up, you see Joey Marciano back on the mound, sometimes you've got to slow down a little bit. Make sure you process what that next move is. These Chinese Taipei hitters, you see it, when all of a sudden runners are on, they're way more aggressive. You have to slow them down, slow their tempo down a little bit as well.
Up and away, 1-1. Gun Yu Chong out of the 9 spot, 0 for 3 tonight. Reach on an error back in the 3rd. On a ball, he scooted under the glove of Nicky Lopez.
Good pitch.
93 for a strike.
Man, heavy fastball too. Good downward upward angle on that ball, 6'5".
Go-ahead run 2 stations away at second. Marciano deals. Jung fouls it back. 1 and 2.
Again, just too much play with 2 strikes. Taiwanese hitters great at generating contact, fighting pitches off. You've got to make them chase.
Here's the 1-2. We'll do it again.
That's what I'm talking about. Look at some of these pitches, a lot of them in the middle of the plate. See him going with the 2 sliders to start him off. That slider is too much with 2 strikes. That's where you got to slow down that tempo. Bury this slider right here underneath the strike zone.
Another 1-2 pitch. Jung really battling out of the 9 spot.
Everything around the middle. Fastball this time. Again, they're just going to keep fouling pitches off. Marciano turn around, checking his velo up on the scoreboard.
Jung was 2 for 3 on Wednesday night for Chinese Taipei. Looking for a monster hit here, and he's got it! Out in the center off the glove of the leaping Miles Mastrobuoni, and they are loaded up back for the top of the order.
You can see that coming from a mile away. Middle of the plate. Guys can make contact. Just too much plate with 2 strikes.
Michael Borzello out again from the third base dugout. Brian, something we talked about on Wednesday night, and you alluded to it earlier, for relief pitchers, you come into this game, but you do it from a bullpen that is in a bunker, essentially. You're underneath the stands, so you're not really involved in this atmosphere, and when you come out and you enter this deafening noise, crazy energy, it has got to mess with your ordinary routine, obviously, but even just the way that you're amped to come into a game.
Right, half the battle is when you get loose, obviously physically, but you're trying to get a feel for the environment. See Marciano, he's rushing in between pitches, but that's a big factor. Usually in the US, whether you're in minor leagues, like a lot of these guys, or especially in the big leagues, you're in those bullpens at left field, right field. You can see the runner at second base stalling a little bit at second. That saved a run. He had to wait, freeze on that line drive, make sure that ball wasn't caught. But Tyler, to your point, here in Taiwan, in Japan, the bullpens are underneath. It's quiet. You're essentially in a batting cage, and you come out, and then it's deafening.
And a pinch hitter to the plate, and a bouncing ball, slow roller left side, tough play, and Chinese Taipei is into the lead. Quote Jen Fan, the pinch hitter comes through. A walk and 3 straight singles with 1 out. It's 8-7.
Chance continue. The energy. The hits.
And here's the MVP, Lee Lin, and he fouls one off. It really, this is a cliche sports thing, but it really feels like this crowd is an extra player on the field
100%
for Chinese Taipei.
Yeah, as cliche as that sounds, and you said it too, but listen, see David Fletcher, a major league infielder. get caught between. And what that is as an infielder, you've got to know exactly where you're going, especially with loaded bases. And that crowd, you said it, Tyler, it's so true. It plays such a role messing with those visiting players, speeds the game up.
That will go as a hit, by the way, for Quoten Vaughn. So 2 pinch hitters in this inning, both of whom have come through. Now a bouncer out to short. Fletcher to second for 1. On to first! In time for the 6-4-3 double play. And the rally ends with just 1 across. Italy turns a clutch twin killing, but Chinese Taipei will ask for the review to confirm it. So, we will see. And here's our first look.
He had to be quick too, David Fletcher, get rid of that ball in a hurry. Pascantino with a big stretch. This is close.
You can tell what the fans think.
Yeah.
And again, the call on the field is an out call. Wonder if they're trying to suggest a call here. And out. The call is confirmed to end the bottom of the 7th. So Lee Lin bounces into the double play. But Chinese Taipei gets 1 to retake the lead. We head to the top of the 8th inning. The home team's back out in front in a wild one in Taichung. Bases loaded, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Here's how the rally ended for Chinese Taipei. A beautifully turned double play by Italy. And man, if Vinny Pasquantino is 6'2" instead of 6'4", we might still be playing the bottom of the 7th. And a terrific stretch by the fantastic first baseman.
Oh, look at this. Wow.
Every inch of that frame in the splits.
The crowd trying to will their way into a safe call. This entire stadium chanting safe, safe. Wow.
D'Andalusio, the leadoff man, in the top of the 8th. That's a great look at it. And again, the call on the field was out originally, so there had to be clear and convincing evidence that definitively proved that safe should have been the call, and there wasn't. As the 1-1 has popped up, foul ground. Gilbert Delau gives chase. That's out into the seat.
They have to rally here. They're down to the final 6 outs.
This Italian team, they put themselves in a very good position with the win in game number 1, knocking off Cuba, because you know a draw against Chinese Taipei, the home team, on a Friday night against this crowd, you knew it was going to be tough. But getting that win in your back pocket yesterday, that's big. 1-2 pitch. Skied first base side, foul again, and out of play again. But once more, I mean, if Chinese Taipei hangs on, we've got the Netherlands at 2-0, everybody else with 1 win behind them.
Yeah, it's creating quite the mess, but that's what we have been talking about this entire pool play. Pool A, most evenly balanced. Kind of expected this.
We do have some defensive changes we'll get to you for Chinese Taipei, as the pinch hitter Quoten Fan, who drove in the go-ahead run, he's over at first base now. Down goes D'Andalusio, a leadoff out.
Big strikeout. Wow. Lou's still in this game. We talked about Stephen Woods holding it down with that pitching staff. Look what Lou's been up to. Came in, had Vinny Pasquantino at the plate. And he picked off David Fletcher. Next thing you know, he's got to face Pasquantino at the top of the inning in the 7th. Got him out, got the heart of that aura out. Here he is in the 8th.
Pitch fastball, just misses. 1 ball and no strikes on Miles Mastrobuoni, 1 for 3 out of the 9 spot. Chin Chang stayed in the game. He is the left fielder. Yu Chang moving from first base to second base. Chen Wei Chen replacing Siwei Lin. Digging the shades out there.
Tyler Mons, racquetball goggles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out in left field.
It's pickleball, please. Excuse me.
Excuse me, sorry.
I'm imagining those are to help cut down on the glare from the lights here. Mastrobuoni unable to hold up on that one.
You got Mastrobuoni, then you get the big prospect, Sal Frelick, and David Fletcher, and then Vinny Pasquantino. All the big hitters coming up. Really, right in this game, they're just going to generate some base runners.
2-2. You know, I will say this is a tight zone that's frustrated these fans tonight, but it's been a consistent zone for sure. And that's all you want from an umpire. It's been a very well called zone with the boundaries that Chris Siegel has established. 2-2 pitch. 3-2.
Owning that down and away to these lefties, freezing these hitters, nothing you can do with that pitch.
3-2. On the ground out to second. Backhand stab by Chang. 2 gone. Yu Chang is so versatile. Moving from first base where he started this game, he's at second base right now. He can play a whole bunch of spots. And fluidly gets the out there. 2 away. We'll go back to the top of the order and Sal Frelick with 2 gone and the bases empty for the 4th consecutive inning for Italy. In the 3 previous ones, the Italians have got runners on after 2 outs to open the frames. Crowd,
Every pitch.
a little bit subdued in the middle of this game, and they are electric once more. What are you supposed to do with that pitch?
Yeah, it's tough when you're facing left on left. And you can land that secondary pitch and come back with that fastball. He's been thrown with 2 strikes a ton, especially down the way to lefties.
Yen-Ching Liu kicks and deals. 2-1 down and away.
See that smile from Liu. That's a pitch that down the way he's been owning. Got to be careful here. Sal Frelick can try and get back in this count. He might let it eat.
Three-one coming. Frelick takes strike 2. Yen-Ching Liu was part of the designated pitcher pool for this Chinese Taipei team in the 2017 World Baseball Classic and was never activated. He's played on national teams at a ton of different competitions. And maybe no stage like this ever before. 3-2 is outside for ball 4. 4 straight innings now with 2 outs to start the innings and base runners to follow for Italy.
Change here. He's at the end of his rope.
guy that Chinese Taipei will go to is Jiahao Sung, and we'll tell you about him when we return. Trying to hang on to a one-run lead. It's 8-7, home team in the 8th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic Incorporated and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. It has been nothing short of an absolute thriller tonight at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium. Yu Chang, a pivotal 6th inning homer to get his team back even. A 7-7 game at the time. Chinese Taipei scratching a run across in the bottom of the 7th to take the lead. And trying to get the final out of the 8th, and they will turn to the right-hander Jiahao Sung to do so as he will go to work against David Fletcher.
We saw him on the first night. 30 years old, 6'1". You see the numbers right here. This is in the Japanese version of Rakuten. There is a Rakuten here, obviously in the CPPL, but look at this, 2.6 ERA, 54 games.
'21 NPB All-Star selection with the Rakuten Golden Eagles in Nippon Professional Baseball.
And you can look at this scouting report, big physical pitcher, expands the strike zone. Doesn't throw hard either, he's upper 80s, but he's got that good spin on that fastball.
First pitch is there for a strike, only 85 miles an hour.
That ball looks like it's right in the middle of the plate and has that extra RPM. Flies gravity a little longer, gets above the barrel. So he's got that split. He can pitch up in the strike zone as well.
Taking on Sal Frelick, who runs really well over there at first base. Sal Frelick's just got that it factor. He's 1 for 4 tonight, an RBI double and a walk, but man, is he fun to watch. Lead away over at first. And another checkout.
You have to pitch David Fletcher in this situation. Can't try and be cute, expand the strike zone too much. You walk him, all of a sudden you got Sal Frelick in scoring position. With the pass squatch coming up.
Right side on 2 hops. Gobbled up by Chang, inning over. Chinese Taipei looking for some insurance as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning in Taichung. It has been one heck of a night of baseball at Taichung Intercontinental Baseball Stadium, and it's an 8-7 lead for the home team over Italy as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The leadoff man into the batter's box to get this 8th inning going is Chen-Wei Chen, who is in the lineup in place of Zhu-Wei Lin. A lot of lineup moves late in this game by Wei-Ping Lin, the manager. 2 pinch hitters last inning, a couple of defensive replacements. And a bunt attempt popped up over the mound, out to second. What a play by Miles Mastrobuoni to get the out. And that brings up one of the heroes tonight for Chinese Taipei, Yu Chang.
Wow, that was
inning.
That was a huge play. First of all, you got the middle of the lineup coming up. You got this guy, Yu Chang. Look at this. This is a tough in between. Bare hand, no time to set your feet. Fires a strike over to Vinny Pescatino. Wow, huge play with this man up.
No margin for error with how well Chen runs. Great play by Mastrobuoni. Yu Chang in the 6th inning got his team rallied from a 7-5 deficit with a 2-run homer. Take strike one here to put the count even. He is now 2 for 4 tonight. Homer, a double, also reached on an error on a ball that he smoked well to center field. Went off the glove of Ben DeLuzio. One, 3-1. Being really careful with Yu Chang. And there is ball 4. Back in the 6th inning, this was the scene here in Taichung. Said to our producer, Chris Bracey, in between innings, can you imagine what that feels like? And Yu Chang, Ryan, you made a great point. These fans, if Yu Chang had shown up after initially saying this year that he wasn't going to play and being, I don't want to say forced, but the social media reaction especially kind of forcing him to take a look at that decision, reverse course, come and play with his team. If he had come out here and gone 0 for the tournament, struck out 8 times, not looked invested, it looks entirely different.
For sure. He's lost the fan base. You know, his home fan base, they take so much pride, and they love their homegrown talent. They love watching them when they're playing over in the major leagues. They sit up late at night to watch them, the time difference and all that. But he goes back to the United States, going over, and this team bows out. But now after that moment, a moment that is so huge for him in his career, he'll never forget it. But it's huge for this fan base, whether they're here in person or watching at home on TV.
1 out, 1 on. Yen-Ting Wu, who has been terrific. Look at that attendance tonight. Almost 18,800 on the nose. Runner off. Ground ball right side and on through. Yen-Ting Wu continues to star his 2nd hit of the night. And with Chang in motion on the pitch, he goes 1st to 3rd.
This lineup is relentless. Just nowhere to hide in regards to how much contact they make. See Yu Chang motor around these bases too. Look at this, just everything put in play. If you're in the middle of the plate, it's going to be some good contact. You go back to that play from Mastrobuoni, how big that was. Otherwise, you're looking at none out right now.
Yeah, that's a great point, and probably a run home. Big opportunity here for Gungwan Gilligalau, who is looking for his 1st hit in the World Baseball Classic. 0 for 4 tonight with a strikeout. Mike Piazza last night as calm and collected as possible. Tonight, can't even imagine the nerves in that 3rd base dugout for Italy's manager in a 1-run game. This team's only got 3 outs to work with at the plate and trying desperately to keep this as a 1-run deficit.
Look at the difference, dude. When it counts, when it's in scoring position, hitting 500 tonight. That game 1 against Panama, nothing doing. They are so aggressive with runners on base.
Dragons catcher who spent time in pro ball in the United States, changed his name back to his given name, his Aboriginal name rather than his Chinese name. 90 feet away at third base, and the person of Yu Chang is as big as anything we have seen in this Classic so far.
Yeah, it changes the complexity too. With the top part of that ninth inning, you got Vinny Pascantino lead the inning off. And so you can pitch to him in that regard. So if it's a one-run game, you got to be more careful with him. You got the two-run buffer, all of a sudden you can pitch to Vinny.
And here is what is at stake. The Netherlands already sitting with 2 wins. Italy trying to join them there. Chinese Taipei trying to make sure they will not remain winless. Gilligalau, deep drive to center. Back on it is Deluzio at the wall. It's gone!
Big moment in front of his home crowd. Look at him. The crowd know, keeping them on their feet. 11-7 Chinese Taipei.
What a night for 18,799 in this ballpark, as Joey Marciano did what he could to keep this thing close. But Gangguan Gilligalau leaves the yard to center. Pitching change for Italy in a 4-run game. We don't often see curtain calls in March, but the World Baseball Classic creates them. And here's the reason why. Not 1, but 2 for Gangguan Gilligalau.
Yeah, round 2. For good reason. Oh, what a shot.
One of a handful of heroes in the lineup for Chinese Taipei tonight, which has distanced itself from Italy with a 4-run lead and angling for more as a rope to right field gets to the wall. Chen greets Italian reliever Claudio Scotti with a double.
They are not done. Just riding the wave of this energy.
Just moments ago, Gilligalau did this.
Get the bat head hanging slider. Thank you. He's 0 for 4 coming into this.
Just 1 out in this inning, and Chin Cheng is going to watch the runner advance as Scotti just held on too long there. That was a balk, actually, I believe. Or did that ball get trapped back there behind the plate? We saw home plate umpire Chris Siegel declare that a dead ball and point at third. Not quite like the other game earlier in the Classic, in which we could hear a home plate umpire yell balk. Chinese Taipei has taken control of this game. 102 miles an hour off the bat for that homer. 2 balls and no strikes on Chin Cheng. Claudio Scotti, you see out there on the mound, a New York Mets prospect. He was one of the native Italian-born pitchers on this roster from Rome.
Yeah, you see the numbers right there, and this is at the Complex League in Florida. Don't quite get the same crowds at that level, that is for sure. You see the numbers, 5 games, 7.5 ERA. been thrown to the wolves right here in the 8th inning.
2-1, good pitch there. 2-2. Yeah, not really the same atmosphere on the FCL backfields. It is a party in Taichung tonight. Chin Chang trying to keep it going. If he drives in this run, Chinese Taipei would match its record for most runs ever scored in a World Baseball Classic game. A mark this team originally set back in 2006 in the inaugural edition in a win over China. China held tough in the early game today in Tokyo, but fell late as the Czech Republic grabbed its first win in World Baseball Classic play, rallying in the ninth. 2-2 on the way to Chang. In the air, shallow right. It's a long run for everybody, and it settles into the glove of Dominic Fletcher, is the one to get to it for out number 2.
The audio is a little bit of a problem for these guys. Can't you hear each other calling each other off that ball? Able to make the play though.
So here is Chun-Yu Chong as the home team with a 4-run lead. Gets set to try to close out its first win of the 2023 World Baseball Classic here on home soil. Low and away, 1-0. Claudio Scotti attended the Italian Academy at the age of 15 years old and now finds himself in pro ball, and a liner out to left field will find the glove of Sal Frelick and wrap things up here in the bottom of the 8th. But Chinese Taipei adds 3 on this one. Inning in Taichung. Chinese Taipei has scored the last 6 to rally from a 7-5 deficit and carry a 4-run lead to the top of the 9th as Vinny Pasquantino will lead things off for Italy. And the first pitch is ball 1 to get things rolling here in this final inning of regulation.
For everything that's happened, big Vinny Pasquantino, we've talked about probably the most dangerous hitter in either lineup, has really been a non-factor today. Got that hit in the first inning. He ran himself out on the bases. Here's another one.
1 out.
And taking care of the middle of his lineup.
Well, tomorrow we'll have more doubleheader action for you from Pool A here in Taichung at noon local time, 11 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. Team Panama will be going up against the Italian Nightmare. That man right there, Vinny Pasquantino and the Azzurri. And then at 7 o'clock local, 6 a.m. Eastern in the U.S., Xander Bogaerts and Jurickson Profar will be back in the swing of things against the host team, Chinese Taipei, which is going to be building off a monster win tonight. Man, that matchup looks really intriguing as a bouncer back to the mound, 2 out.
Yeah, they look completely different to what we saw. We watched Chinese Taipei on that opening night. We thought to ourselves, are they going to get rolled? Is this going to be a big letdown for these home fans? But man, they look really good tonight. Obviously with this crowd, that's going to be a fun matchup, Tyler. You got A lot of Major League talent from the Netherlands, up 2-0. Against the home team, Chinese Taipei, on Saturday night out here.
The last chance to keep this going for Italy is Brett Sullivan. The 5th straight inning in which Chinese Taipei pitchers have retired the first 2 Italian batters. We'll see if they can finish off a 1-2-3 frame for the first time since the 3rd. And they can't. Sullivan keeps it alive. He's got his 3rd hit of the day and a perfect 5-for-5 performance getting on base. 3 singles and 2 walks.
There's still a heartbeat in that Italian dugout. Been overwhelmed by the atmosphere here from the home fans. Stephen Woods Jr. was so good up into that last hitter. Yu Chang taking him deep, the man right there in the center of your screen. He was in a groove. The first pitch Yu Chang hit the seam, took it straight away center field.
We've got a pinch hitter here in the place of Vinny Fresia, and it is Robel Garcia. Garcia, a really interesting case. He's actually a naturalized Italian citizen who was born in the Dominican Republic. Originally signed with Cleveland at the age of 16, played 4 minor league seasons, was released in 2014, and then played ball in Italy for the next 5 years. One and one on him.
This Italian team, that 4th and 5th inning were big, and then just shut down after that.
Italy just 1 hit in the 6th, 7th, and 8th combined. Trying to keep the line moving, trailing this game by 4. 1 and 2.
Not to mention too, Tyler, they're going to come right back here. It's 11 o'clock here locally. They got the noon game. Get some sleep, right back at it.
You got to look at Nicky Lopez in the on-deck circle. It's the man in the hole, Ben DeLuzio, that Italy would have to reach for having any chance to tie this game. A 1-ball, 2-strike count on Robel Garcia. Cha Hao Sung's 1-2. That dugout waiting to explode out of this field in celebration. And the 2-2 pitch from Sung. Ball game. Welcome to the party, Chinese Taipei. Win number 1 in the 2023 World Baseball Classic. 11 runs on a Team World Classic record, 16 hits. And the party continues here in Taiwan as the home team has its first win. And an up-to-the-minute look at the wild standings in Pool A with the Netherlands and everybody else.
Man, what a night for this crowd and this team. You can see them still celebrating on the mound after this first win. It's taken 10 years to get back to Taiwan with the World Baseball Classic. It's a bit of a letdown the other night, big loss to Panama, and here they are, 11-7 against a tough Italy team.
An unbelievable night of baseball in front of 18,799. And again, it's another sports cliche, but it rings true tonight. I don't think a single person has left this building as Chinese Taipei, with the win, pulls into second place through 3 days in Pool A. And one of the heroes tonight, Yu Chang, what a story for him. Unbelievable.
Really was, and again, we can't talk about this enough. January 1st, telling everyone that he was pulling out of being a part of this team. He changed his mind a few days later, and here he is. One of the biggest moments, biggest games of his career, regardless of where it ever ends up.
Well, coming up tomorrow at noon local time, later tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern time in the United States. Don't miss our continuing coverage of Pool A from Intercontinental Stadium here in Taichung. Team Panama will square off with the Italian Nightmare Vinny Pasquantino and the Azzurri. And then tomorrow night, Chinese Taipei right back at it against the Netherlands. For Ryan Rowland-Smith and our entire crew here in Taiwan, this is Tyler Mon saying goodbye for now, and thanks for watching our presentation of the 2023 World Baseball Classic.